This is Dice of Ages. I'm your not so humble game master TJ, and we're playing C3 in CrestVahllen and everything. I messed it up. It's okay. Whatever.
Close enough.
Oh God, no, I don't want that. How do I stop that?
Yes, I love this.
Okay. Oh no! Stop!
We're caught in a time loop.
Oh no!
3
We are
tracks,
pictured
4 tracks.
Oh no!
It adds a layer
I'm
every
just
time it loops.
used to doing we've got the whole like multiple streaming thing on the other platforms, trying to figure out how that's working. So
See, we missed a chance to do like the row your boat thing.
Yeah.
Ooh,
around ourselves.
Yeah.
Roll,
Great.
roll your dice gently on the board.
I'm gonna get another D1. Yep.
There we go.
That's 13,
Yeah.
babe.
There's a 1.
There we go.
It's a 50%
All
chance
right.
it has a 1.
So anyway, hello, my say hi, my little leaves.
Hi.
Okay, I'm actually
I
different
don't know how to
object.
respond to that.
My little leaves. My little leaves. There you go. Okay.
Mhm.
No. Okay. All right.
Just
Fine. That's
me.
fine.
Yeah. Definitely doesn't help when one player is actually named Leaf.
I started doing with Baker's Dozen. Go like, hello. Say hi, my little croissants, and they're like, hello, my little croissants.
I am a leaf on the wind.
I'm a
I
leaf
love
on the
that.
wind. All right, let's go around.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Did you prep?
No.
Okay. So just say hi.
Hello, I am Leaf, and I am playing Tulio of Kekgod. How do we get into the voice there? And he is currently just turned invisible, turned Len invisible, and I believe stumbled in a direction that I am unaware of, and I am terrified to find out. So, here we go.
Yes. Hi, Rhiannon, playing Maeve. Currently, there's some kind of bug thing staring me down, I think. I'm near the edge of the ledge, and I really don't want to fall off.
I don't want you to fall off either. Go ahead.
I'm Mal. I'm playing Len, and he is in desperate need of a rest and some medical attention, among other
Agreed.
things.
He's all
You guys are all awake. Yeah, you are.
I'm Adam. I play Bastion, and I don't see a water source anywhere in here.
Not yet. You don't. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Alex. I play Osfer, and I sense the opportunity to loot some gold weapons.
That's a good point. Yeah, you guys did talk about that. All right, cool. So I don't really have any other announcements this morning. Jesus Christ. Today. Woo!
It is not morning.
We'll just get right into it. It is not morning.
It is very Friday, though.
Good morning, sunshine.
Very Friday.
I swear this week had like 4 Fridays.
Says hello. Oh my
Hello
god.
and wake up to the day. Okay, so let's just get into the recap of last time, shall we?
Dun dun dun
Dun,
dun
dun.
dun dun.
Dun, 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 dun. Alright, that's it. It's copyright. We can't do it anymore.
It is.
It's just mouth noises.
Right. Okay, so the party, having recently defeated the blossoming serpents, contend with the mutagenic infection engulfing Talio, Pip, and Len. Maeve uses her Fey-enhanced magical heritage to reverse germinate Talio's sprouting flora, giving him an artificial heart attack that ends when she forces him to retch the cursed plant matter. Meanwhile, Pip is engulfed in Bastion's orb of water granted to him by the Postropod's essence, causing the goblin's floral inoculation to shrivel from the brine. Desperate, Bast freezes Pip's brain and heart within microdegrees of metabolic failure, stifling the last of the verdure influence. Nearby, Osfer continues to extricate handfuls of blood-soaked vines and tangle-laden arteries, his brute force approach mortally and unavoidably wounding the undead companion, as porous scars are left in the Endeavor's wake. As half the party are narrowly spared from becoming mind-controlled plant-like creatures, the surrounding tangle shifts and writhes, causing the conscious members to flee into the nearby wood. Their unconscious allies carted along. Thanks to lycanthropic boons to senses, utter disorientation is prevented through the non-linear illusory layout of the odd forest. Reuniting within the edge of the tree line, the band of beaten unfortunates find themselves atop a cliffside vista, the esoteric glory of the Fey Moors before them. Exhausted, the gang rests and attempts to lay out a plan of action, ultimately deciding to find a safer location to attempt to summon Cavendish for information or assistance. The party carries on when Talio and Pip stumble and send a rock soaring over the edge of the precipice, and they are traveling along. The rock screams in terror as it plummets, which alerts a gigantic buzzing copter-like sound, beckoning harboring the arrival of a dragonfly carrying a rider. Talio makes Len and himself invisible, but falls and curses. The bug-mounted Fae turns and swoops in to confront the party. Welcome back to the Fey Moors. So, we are left then in kind of in media res here. We're left. So, to give you guys an idea, actually, this is a little silly. This should be a little bit more like this. We are left in a little bit of media res because this large dragonfly, about the same size as you had met when you were in Quasmont, when the mist came through and that one general or someone that was in charge of the Fae that came through there was riding this, and then they split up for a while, and then they left. You had defeated, I believe you exploded it at one point. But this one is about the same size, same make, same model, that type of deal, coming and swooping to your area. It is, at the moment, couldn't be more than about 300 feet away at this moment as it came soaring over the trees. I'm just going to call them trees because I don't really have another term for them, but they're everything from mycelial growths to odd, like, cactus tree porous formations of, like, the bones of cactus tree, and, yeah, just the canopy. There you go. Of this floral canopy, so you didn't see it, but you heard it coming as it came over farther up, because we know how this is kind of slanted and down goes towards that braided tether that hits down to the Vega below. So we have, it came up from the upper side to the right, from where you were looking out into the whole scenic panorama. And it came around there and was looking as it went over the island to, like, empty space, so there was a lot better view of what it could see. Heard the sound, turned, and then banked left to come around and is headed your way, directly for you guys. Two people are invisible, Len and Talio, correct? Mm-hmm. Pip has fallen down. It is, like I said, it is 300 feet away. You guys have a moment if you want to do something, but this thing is moving very, very, very fast. I believe you did all of your, like, reactionary things, of, like, casting the spell, making sure the thing is... If there's anything else you want to do, now's the time.
Are there any rocks or anything to jump behind big enough to hide us?
There aren't any, like, boulders.
Oh, okay.
Like, the closest thing to be able to jump behind would be back and through the tree line into the wood. But you also know...
Yeah.
How that works. So that is, like I said, there are about 10 feet between the edge of the tree line and where the mass that you are currently on is bare of larger trees before the cliffside just drops down.
Can I press digitation to make myself green?
That's more of a minor illusion thing.
Okay.
Prestidigitation.
It can change the color of something, but not typically.
Not like a whole person.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little. I think you get like 1 cubic foot of material.
Yeah.
So,
Worth asking.
yeah. Anything else?
Try to hide.
You guys want to try to hide?
Yeah.
Okay, so those that are invisible can use their action to hide at advantage, if you'd like.
Absolutely.
The rest of you just go ahead and roll stealth checks.
I'm just gonna stand there and like wait.
As bait?
Yeah,
Okay.
sort of like just a traveler meeting a fellow traveler.
Okay. You got it.
I rolled a nat 1, so
Okay, so you trip and fall on top of Pip. And so Pip
Yes.
is like half hanging off of the cliff as you just and you're squishing Pip now as it's just like cliffside into his sternum. And you've just fallen. You slipped on some of the gravel that is the loose thing, and just so you're stuck there. So it's just Bast and people falling on top of each other. What'd you get?
I got an 18.
18. So where do you want to go?
I want to go like, okay, so it's coming off from the right. I want to move like kind of towards it along the cliffside, away from the party.
You want
Like,
to go
sneaky.
towards it?
Where
So
it's
there's
coming,
nothing
where it's
really to
coming
hide
from.
behind in this area.
I'm not
I mean,
trying
there's
to
a
hide
couple like
behind.
lower shrubs if you want to dive into some shrubs. and
No, I'm invisible. I don't.
Oh,
care
you're
if I'm
invisible.
on the
That's
o-
correct.
Just
So,
going like up
You're just-
slope a little bit.
I understand. You're just moving. So you're going upslope. How many feet? How many would you like to go?
As much as I can.
So 30 feet.
30 feet.
Okay. Len.
I'm gonna try to move in the other direction, just not be crowded up with everyone else.
Okay, you're gonna go down.
Yeah.
Down to the left. Same amount of feet, 30 feet, or you got more than that,
Or
don't you?
35, I guess.
You want to do 35?
I'll go 20.
You want to go 20? Okay, you go 20. You're invisible, so you continue to. You guys just step very quietly, and you don't leave footprints. You try to step in a place that wouldn't leave footprints. That's how you kind of represent that stealth check. What about you?
I got 11.
11. Where would you like to go?
Near a shrub.
You want to jump into a shrub? Okay, cool. You jump into a shrub. Bastion, you notice that his top knot is still popping out of the shrub.
I'm a master at stealth.
Yeah,
never
master
seen
of
it.
stuff. Looks like a cactus bloom just sitting up on top of there. Cool. This thing is moving incredibly fast. As this thing starts to, it's not slowing down as it starts to get to the cliff. It is going very, very fast as if it's about to collide into the cliff. The people that are visible are Maeve, Bastion, and Pip.
Like circling back around to
Technically.
us, or is it like
It
dive bombing
came up
behind
from.
us?
So let's if I'm the party and I was facing the view
Yeah.
off the cliffside, and up to the right was the thing, and then down to the left was the other thing. It came from over the canopy beyond your view because the
Right.
trees were blocking it. Farther up on the
Yes.
upslope, and then banked left to come around.
Right. That's what I was.
Yeah, that's where it was coming from. Because it went out to open space and then got a better view and then turned around.
I'll
and
reach
started
down and help
diving.
Maeve and Pip back to their feet.
Okay, cool. You do so. You while you are doing that, I think you have to help up Maeve before you can help up Pip because Maeve is on top of Pip.
yes.
So you do so. This thing moves in incredibly fast. It moves. It's moving like around 200 to 300 feet, like per round. So it gets there right at this moment, and it does one of those things where it flays out its wings. In one of those like owl break, air brake maneuvers, and this like dragonfly type vibration of just iteration of just constant hummingbird type wings, and it just flays it into this beautiful splay of all these insectoid wings. And it does that thing where you see birds of prey, how they attack prey on cliff sides, where they go in really fast, they break at the last minute, and they grab their talons right onto like the side of a cliff before they then push off of it and then continue their descent to maintain their momentum. Very similar to how swimmers will spin around and push. So this thing collides with the cliffside, and you can see it already pushing itself off. I need dexterity saving throws from everybody who's right there. Len and Talio, you've moved far enough away. You're not in the specific moment that it's landing on. Everybody else needs dexterity saving throws.
I mean, is he far enough away behind his bush?
No, I don't think so.
That I would be knocked off like that.
No, you're like only 5. You're 5 feet from off the cliff and 5 feet from the tree line. You're like you're farther in because
it's-
you have to. The shrubbery is not near the cliffside. It's closer to the trees.
And it's colliding with like the top of the cliff edge.
It's got 4 or 5 limbs that are splayed all around the top of the cliff and the side of the cliff. As it's got a lot of insectoid limbs that are all just all like latching onto it and crashing into the side of the landmass.
Gotcha.
As it looks like it's then like bracing itself to push off. Go ahead. Dexterity saving throws.
10.
10. Okay.
19.
19.
16.
16. Okay. Do you guys want to do dive out of the way?
Yes.
Okay. Which direction would you like to go? Over the cliff, to the
Forest.
side, or into the woods?
Forest word.
You want to go in the woods? Okay. So you're in the woods now. Bastion.
Just fall back. Like,
Okay. Towards the woods, but not
Yeah.
into the woods.
I mean, I was on the edge picking them up.
Yeah.
So I'm just sort of like
Okay. Yeah.
falling away from it.
So that
gracefully.
makes sense. You got like a 19?
Yeah.
Okay, so you like pick Maeve up as you fall back, and she's now on top of you as you like pull her back, as you only really had time to like pivot your weight to do that like kind of reverse suplex kind of move.
Yeah.
And you just get out of the way as this claw comes down. Claw, hand, weird, exoskeletal dragonfly, weird thing. It's like this, and it has like weird talon on here and a long one here and like a weird opposable one here, and it just lands right on top of Pip, right where you guys once were for a moment. Just. You see it then begin to push off as it grabs onto Pip and just pushes off the cliffside and begins to hover for a moment before it turns really quickly and begins to bank away, carrying Pip in its appendage. What are you guys doing?
I want to shoot an arrow at it.
Okay, go ahead. Roll an attack. Do you want to shoot an arrow at the rider or the dragonfly?
It's the dragonfly.
Okay, go ahead. You do hear, actually, do me a favor, you two, because the only reason why you can do this is because you have enhanced, so I just want you to roll a straight perception check for me, because there's a lot of noise going on right now.
Okay. I was gonna throw some blasts.
Yeah, well, you
at-
can do that too, yeah.
I am at disadvantage because I'm still exhausted.
16.
16? Okay, cool.
15.
15. Okay, you guys do hear the rider speak in a language you're not familiar with at all. It's like it's weird. It has some I kind of represented that wrong. It's more like it's very vowel-y, but at the same time also speckled and dotted with a lot of glottal stops and clicks. It's very, very odd. Something you've never heard before, but it seems to be speaking not necessarily to you, but just like matter-of-factly announcing something that's currently happening, and maybe halfway also speaking to its mount as it pushes off and begins to lift off the cliffside. You guys go ahead. What'd you get for your
23.
23? Yeah, you hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Does a 14 hit?
The 14 does not hit,
Okay.
unfortunately. It does glance off. You see the Eldritch Blast get caught up in the vortex of the wind that the wings are making as it kind of like spirals off to the side.
22.
22. For
Short bow.
you want a short bow? Okay, cool. Yeah, that hits. Go ahead. You guys can roll
7
damage.
damage.
7 damage. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The other beam was a 23.
23. Yeah, that one. You see that one go off, and you try to hit its thorax instead. So you, abdomen.
Can I apply Kensei shot to that? It's a bonus action.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
10 force damage.
10 force, so 7, 10.
11.
11. Okay, so 10, 11, so 28. 28 damage, you do this thing. You also know you fought one of these things before. They're quite chonky. But you do, your things make contact. It does kind of swerve in its flight. It gets jostled. It does not roll very well to hold on to Pip as Pip begins to then fall from its grasp as it gets knocked out of the grasp. You see Pip, while he's falling, like, then turn to look at you guys and like try to cast something, and disappears and misty steps towards you guys, but is too far away and can't reach the cliff. So it's like in Super Smash Brothers when you have that double jump, but you thought you were gonna make it, but you don't quite make it, and he keeps falling. So he's like, so he's like 15 feet from the cliffside, and he can't quite reach, and he begins to fall again. You see him then, as a reaction, cast another spell and begin to feather fall, going very slowly down. He's still kind of screaming, though, as he's slowly falling. Is not very happy with it. You see that the rider of this dragonfly pulls on the reins and turns around and comes back as this thing banks, and you can see its jaw or whatever its head area reason with its mandibles get pulled up and turned around as it banks really, really hard as it comes by and goes into a dive directly for Pip against the cliffside. It is closer now. What are you guys doing?
Don't want to shoot it again.
You want to shoot again? Go
I'll
ahead.
throw daggers at it.
You want to throw daggers at it? What's the range of your daggers?
I don't remember. Yeah.
Short bow range isn't that long either. Is he still?
It's like 60 to 300 or something like that. What is it?
Yeah, but after 60, it's disadvantage.
It's disadvantage. Yeah.
26.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It is at the. Yeah, no, you're right. It would be within your long range right now because it's not getting 60 feet with you. What's up?
2060.
2060. So it's beyond your long range, so you can't even hit it. It's going to automatically fail. You know it's just too far away. You can hit it because you have 120-foot range, so you can hit it, and you've got a longbow. You've got the whole sky.
Is an
So
18 hit?
18 does hit, yes.
17 to hit.
17 just hits.
Okay.
11 does not hit.
That does not hit as you. It just hits like the keratin, kind of just pings off of it like armor.
16 total between the two.
16
12.
total. 12. Okay, so that's another 28 points of damage. Cool. Added to the other 20.8 points of damage, bringing us to 56. Cool. So, anybody else doing anything?
You said it's like a cliffside just going
Did
down.
you attack at all?
I just now attacked. Yeah, my stealth is gone.
So your
invisibility.
invisibility fades.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you said it's a cliffside just like going down, right?
Yeah. We established before that you looked down, but you couldn't see where the cliffside met the ground because
Right.
it either goes too much in that you'd have to like look farther over the cliffside and like hang down a little bit to get a better perspective because you just can't see. It could be one of those that's just kind of an overhang that comes in, but you can't see where it is. The
I'm gonna-
landmass is blocking your view.
I'm gonna see if I can try to walk along it. Use my spider climb.
Yeah, you can
and,
do
like,
so.
See like if it does lead straight down. It might not.
Sure. You want to just like start walking around the corner and down the cliffside?
Yeah.
Full movement? Cool. At that point, once you're sticking out, because you can stand up while you're doing so, as you spider climb down there, you can just, you look down and you see that the cliff is at a severe overhang. So much so that you're not sure, as you look to the ground, you're not sure if this cliff actually touches the ground at all, as it starts to loop beyond and round beyond your vision. It doesn't look like it is touching at all. The ground, and you look, it's almost bowl-esque, but kind of like daggerish bowl-esque. But yeah, you run down the cliffside. It does get you closer to what's going on. You are, I would say at the moment, 60 feet, you move, 35? You are probably within 25 feet of Pip at the moment. Probably 30 because he's off a little bit. This
Can I
thing
just
is
dash?
so you're going down. You can dash if you want to.
dash to
So
get
here's the deal: the cliff goes like in. Pip is falling straight down. So there's going to be a point where there's a sweet spot where you're going to start going farther away from him. You know what I mean? And the bug dragonfly is coming in this way. So you're like going this way as Pip's falling straight down. Does that make sense? So I would say probably past the 40-foot mark, you're going to start getting farther away from him. He's also falling 60 feet per round. You can get to be within, I would say, 15, maybe 20 feet of them. And that would be like the best way to do that, if you dash.
Do I have anything that I could use to grab? I'm trying to look real quick. My rope. As I'm running, I would try to fumble through my bag for rope and just sling the rope and hope that Pip is able to grab it.
So if you use your action to dash, you can't throw the rope because that's like a improvised weapon, like you're trying to catch something with the net, that type of thing.
Okay.
But you can try to. If you don't want to dash, you can try to throw the rope. He'll just be farther away from you, so it'll be harder to try to hit them with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's all I can really do for now.
Okay.
So I'll move the 35 feet, and I'll try to throw my rope and hope
Like
Pip can
lifesaver,
grab
throw the
it.
rope out?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. This is hard. This is a hard thing to do. Go ahead, just roll. I don't want to say improvised attack. I want to say just. I'll say dexterity because you try to have like pull it around and like toss it to whip it out, that type of thing. Just straight dexterity check.
It's a 19.
19. Okay, so you get the rope out to Pip. Like there's not even like a weight at the end of it. So you just kind of like do the whole thing where you and put the roll in the rope so that it whips at the end and it carries itself along that kind of that wave thing in the rope as you roll it out to him, and you does reach him. Pip's gonna roll to see if he can catch it. Grabs it as much as they can, so Pip's on that, still falling slowly because of Featherfall.
I'm gonna try to like pull him back to me as hard as I can.
Okay, I want to see how much.
Whenever I can.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not saying
I
I
was-
do it immediately, but
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't think you could do it right now because
Yeah.
like that was a lot. You ran, you threw it, they caught it, and everything. To pull it is more like an athletics check that might happen like next
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
or maybe a reaction some other time. So yeah, but he has the rope. Yes. Anybody else? No, that was it. Okay, cool. It is then the dragonfly's turn to just comes down, moving very, very fast, collides with Pip, does the thing, catching very owl bird of prey thing where the catch is in talons in midair. Pip, while they're doing that, let's see, yeah, no, absolutely does. Grabs them. Pip still has the rope that has been kind of like spinning a little bit, so the rope's been kind of wrapping around them just ever so slightly. But now that they've been caught, Featherfall stops, because once you touch something, Featherfall stops. So they have Pip again, and they're attempting to move back. Now, if you want to make it like an athletics check against the dragonfly to try to
Yeah,
pull
I'm gonna
Pip
try to-
out of it, you can do contested athletics with the dragonfly.
Yeah, I'll do it. Got nothing else I can do.
How strongly are you adhered to like a perpendicular surface whenever you like do that?
That's what I was going to say. If you fail this check, you will be yanked off the side of the cliff.
I wonder if I could.
Like, is it just like gravity is like the same weight of force that he's being held against it? Or
It's like weird magic.
It's basically I get a climbing speed.
Yeah, he
that's
is-
like equal to my.
he kind of like sticks to it, but I mean, it's still at the same time. If somebody yanks
That's why I
somebody,
didn't wanna, like, try
if
to
somebody
jump
picked
for
you
Pip.
up, you're still gonna come off the ground. So yeah,
That's why
something
I was
like
trying to think earlier if I wanted to jump for Pip. I was like, wait, I'm just gonna plummet if I jump.
that. So go ahead.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll try. That's a 10.
It's a 12. They rolled shit, but they have a really big modifier because they're this massive fucking thing. So this yanks at Pip. You hold strong and you try to put like another hand onto it to give yourself more leverage as you pull back all three limbs, your butt end of your spine and the bottoms of your feet stuck to the cliff as it turns and then just does that yank movement as it moves its appendages and talon-ish, whatever it is, forward, and you see Len just gets whipped off the side of the cliff. It goes airborne just a little bit. You haven't been able to see Len at all until this moment where you see him just go like, in the arms of an angel, coming like right below the cliffside. He's just like spread eagling, and then he begins to fall and plummet. You're still holding onto the rope, however, which is wrapped
I'm gonna
around Pip,
hold
which
dear
is
life.
on the talon of this thing as this thing begins to then rocket away about 120 feet, which is now over just sheer drop, open air, as you see Len now hanging from the rope. Go ahead and roll a strength saving throw to see if you can hold on the rope as you do that jostling thing when you like first pull a parachute and it has that that whiplash movement.
Lordy. That's you said strength save or
Strength save, yeah.
Yeah, that's a 15.
15. Okay, you just barely hold on to this thing as you see Len do that bounce at the end, almost like bungee cord, and then hold on to it, ragdolling in the air pretty much right now as this thing begins to continue to fly away. What are the rest of you guys doing?
I want to try. Sorry, did y'all have anything?
If it rocketed off 120 feet, I can't shoot anymore. 'Cause
Disappear
it's
the horizon.
out of
I
my firing range.
want to scream in Sylvan at this thing.
I would say it's like 100 feet, just because it had to move and then go out. I forgot about that, and it had to use its action to grab something. So yeah, it was still within range. Go ahead.
Hey, ugly, the color of your chitin is out of season.
In Sylvan.
Yes.
Okay, what is it you're attempting to do?
I'm trying to get the thing's attention and bring.
Okay,
Because now Lynn is just like kind of swinging in the breeze.
Go ahead and roll an intimidation check.
Fuck yeah. I'm so intimidating. Nat 20.
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
Yes.
It's what you deserve. It's
So
what you
21,
deserve.
but yeah.
I can't with you right now. I
Oh, I love this. I have never rolled well on one of those.
I now have to look up something to make sure I have this correct.
9 force
Here we are.
damage. One shot goes wide, one
Jesus.
hits it.
Okay. One shot goes wide, and you did 9 points of force damage. You said. I think it's out of range
Way
for you.
out
Yeah.
of my range.
Okay. You see it like it's taking this damage. It's still pretty chunky, but you see its wounds around it. It's not happy about it. You say that to it. There is a moment where it does slow for a moment as it turns to the left and it banks left. You see the rider like looks up because they're banking like this, right? So the rider just like looks straight up, which is lateral and sideways at you, and goes like, "Shidian."
Yes, and also your mother.
Oh, wait a minute.
This is all in Sylvan.
Yes.
What's up?
The long
Short bow
range
is like
is-
120.
There's 320.
Yeah, longer. I was about to say.
320. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not taking
can
another
roll
shot.
at disadvantage if you like. I was about to say. Was it like 100 and then 320 or something like that?
80,
320, right.
No. Its DC was what, 17, 15?
Maeve doesn't quite understand the
Yeah,
nuance
that
of
doesn't
your
it.
mama jokes.
80, 320, you said? Or I'm sorry, how much damage? Or I'm sorry, what was
I don't
the
think
roll?
either of these hit. The lower of the one was total of 12.
12. No, it does not hit. Yeah, it goes wide. As you see it bank at the last minute from their cat call or whatever you want to call it, and it moves out of the
Cat
way. I can't fucking think of it right now. So, I want to make sure I have this name right. Victor, survivors. Correct. Okay. It does look like it is coming back. So you see Pip and Len. Oh, you see Pip is still in the grass, but you see Len as it turns and banks gonna do that
Whip thing.
swing
Yeah.
around as there's the centripetal force. You're just like, whoa! There's a lot of G forces that you're feeling right now, Len. But I'm gonna say that you rolled really pretty good on your strength save, and you've got like the spider climb, so you're like all four limbs wrapped around this thing, trying to hold on to this rope. It does seem to be coming back, but it's not its turn quite yet. Is there anything you guys wanted to do as it's turning? It looks like it was below because it went down to grab it and it was moving out and then rising. Now it appears to be like at level with the cliffside, so it's just coming straight at the cliffside where you guys are. Talil, you're still invisible, right?
I'm still invisible.
Okay. Are you guys all still in the same spot then?
I mean, I stood up,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just
You
sort of
popped
standing
out because
there,
you had to shoot.
Yeah.
a couple feet back from the.
Likewise.
Will it
Yeah.
be within melee range?
Is what within melee range?
Like, I guess in the next couple of seconds, will this dragon?
If it
fly?
lands again, it would be. Yeah,
Okay.
if like depending on what it does when it arrives at this place, it does seem to be coming again, not like taking any moment to slow down as it's coming barreling straight into the cliffside. Very like a repeat dive bomb as to what it did before is what it appears to be doing.
I want to try to jump on it. when it
You want to try to
comes
jump on it?
close. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's what's gonna fucking die.
I've got
We
it.
learned
Don't worry,
nothing.
I've got a plan.
We learned that.
Okay.
Got this through.
You got it. You can
Have you?
attempt to jump on it if you like.
I have all of my key.
So,
I'm gonna stun this thing.
jeez.
overland, hopefully, so it doesn't plummet all of us to our death.
Okay, so this thing turns around. It does appear to then crash into the side of those of people that you are there. Not you, Talio, but Bastion, Osfer, and Maeve. Please roll dexterity saving throws again as it crashes in again with like 4 of its limbs. One of them is clutched more towards its abdomen that has Pip in it. And Len, as it crashes in here, you swing under and are gonna get banged into the side of the cliff face. So what kind of...
Does the whip, because it came up, right? So would the whip carry him up?
It was when it banked, he kind of swung out, and then it was traveling level with the cliffside. So he's just going right there because it was traveling up a little bit and then it banked and then went straight, same altitude.
I mean, he was. Never mind.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna argue.
Yeah, no, it's like there's no
call it.
real whip thing. It's more of just like the centripetal forces. But he's gonna swing into the cliffside as this thing stops suddenly, and he keeps moving because of Newton's laws of motion.
Yep.
So
This is some Wile E. Coyote shit.
yeah, it's very Wile E. Coyote.
21.
21. Okay, cool. You can dive out of the way, no big problem. This thing is attempting to, with 3 limbs, grab at least one of you. It's trying to grab some of you.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. Okay, yeah, you can dive wherever you want.
Can I grab the rope?
The rope
Welcome
is.
for a ride.
Do you want to dive
my goodness.
over the
No,
cliff
no.
and grab the rope?
Like, is it? Within...
I would say like so. It's clutching Pip right here, like close to its thorax, and right thorax.
Yeah.
Abdomen, thorax. Well, yeah, abdomen is the butt, and thorax is the middle bit, tiny little bit. Head, thorax, abdomen. So it's
Is it within
clutching.
grabbing distance?
Yeah, if you wanted to. What I would say is that the rope is kind of pinched right now against the cliffside and against its abdomen, which is then being swung from that point free as Len bangs into it. I'm going to say you can roll either a strength or dexterity to see if you can try to use something to not just bang into this.
Ooh.
See if you have your legs in front of you.
That's a nat 1.
That's a nat 1.
That's a
Okay, so
5.
you you're like, I got this. I'm just gonna like use my leg power and just brace myself, and then you start to spin, and you're like, oh no, and you just the back of your head just slams into the side of this cliffside. You take 9 points of bludgeoning damage as you slam into this cliffside. Are you still conscious?
I'm at 0.
You're at 0.
Damn.
None of us know this.
Nobody knows this.
Let's go. Oh my god.
What did you get for your dexterity?
21.
21. Okay, so I would say like as part of the jump away, you could jump onto this thing if you wanted
Yes,
to.
I want to do
You
that.
could jump onto one of the arms / legs, one of the appendages, like about like at elbow length. I know it has a bunch of weird bends and curves, but you wouldn't be able to like jump onto the body, the back of it itself.
Okay.
You can do that. Everybody avoids it. It's going to, as it's doing that, then make one swipe with its head at you. Or I'm sorry, not the dragonfly. The rider is going to like throw some sort of magic at you. You see this. It opens its hand and a blossom opens up in its palm as it just shoots out this what looks like ball of pollen at you that travels through the air.
I mean, I rolled a 21, so...
It was bad. This is a different attack. This is just a straight attack.
I see.
It only got a 7, so it's unable. You just kind of duck out of the way as it. Very like Half-Life 2 when you throw those pods for the antlions.
Never
As it just
played
kind of like goes up to a bunch of like spores and dissipates, but you dodge it. Right. So Len.
Oh.
After it does that, the dragonfly is going to push off, releasing the rope from there as it's now, you can see it's now, doesn't feel like it has any weight attached to it anymore. You can grab onto it if you want to at that moment if you want to, as you kind of jump and grab onto it. You are probably no more than 10 feet from Pip in that instance, but you're still somewhat dangling from it. So Osfer, you're on top of it,
Wait, if the rope is all twisted around Pip, how
partially twisted around.
then how does the dragonfly let go of the rope?
Dragonfly lets go of the rope?
Yeah, isn't that what you said? Did I mishear that?
No. I said the rope is wrapped around Pip a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It has then Pip with part of the rope in its clutches pushed up against his thorax. So it wanted to keep it safe, like holding a football. and the about 10 feet down the rope was pinned up against its abdomen, up against the edge of the cliffside because it crashed into the cliffside. You know, and then so when it came out, the rope came free from that pinned position,
And we can see it swinging.
and you
as
can
if
see it
there's no
swinging.
weight.
Then Bass jumps onto it, so it moves and pushes off. You're on top of it.
I
You're
didn't
on the
want
rope.
to jump onto it. I wanted to grab it.
You want okay? You
I want to do a side roll away from its landing. And
You
like,
want to keep it
snag
tethered to the ground?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to say roll a strength saving throw then, actually no. This is a contested athletics check because you're trying to pull down a very heavy, strong dragonfly from the sky. It's like trying to pull one of those big balloons from like a Macy's Day Parade, but one person. What you got?
8.
8. Okay. That is a 15. So you get yanked off. If you want to hold on to this, you can hold on to it, but it's like you just start sliding, whoa, 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 and you get yanked off as well. You also then are able to very easily look down and see that Len is falling. But like all this is happening kind of at the same time because Len, you kind of like did that whole Wile E. Coyote like, and then like peeled off before you fell.
I mean, if he was wrapped around, does his spider climby thing just like keep him stuck to the rope?
No, he has
No,
to
I was
actively be
hoping that.
engaging it. Yeah.
I was hoping. Sorry.
So I want you to hand me the Tower of Terrazine for me, real please, quickly, because we're gonna make a very important roll to see if Pip notices Len falling. You just pass it
Yeah,
around.
pass it around. Everyone's gonna touch the Tower of Terrazine.
Len, don't die.
the number thou shalt count to.
I can't make any promises.
Okay.
I can't do much of anything right now.
Nope.
Okay. So you see Pip like crane his head, look down, see Len there, and then as a reaction cast a spell and put Featherfall on him. If you want to be holding on this rope, you can, or you could have let it go at the last moment. It's up to you.
Not come along
But
with
you
Marty.
don't know what's going on below you.
To my own detriment, I'm exhausted,
Okay.
and I lost this contest.
Yeah.
I feel like I would just be flung out there.
Oh, like you got yanked off, but then couldn't keep your grip on the rope. Okay, cool.
I mean,
That actually makes a lot of
I
sense.
hate to like throw myself off a cliff, but like, yes.
It makes sense. You're tugged and then aren't able to like keep grasping on because you ever go rock climbing for a while and then you just can't even pick up like a beer or
It's
anything
kind of
at
what
the
I'm saying.
point.
Like,
Yeah.
Can I catch him?
You're
like,
on the
on
arm.
the
You're
other
not.
side?
He's like 15 to 20 feet
Okay.
below you. But Pip is able to get more than one person with the Featherfall. So he gets you and Len with Featherfall as Pip is carried away. Oscar with you on its arm. Maeve, you can see this. Talia, you can see all of this. But you don't know where Matt Bast is and you don't know where Len is. They're just gone. It looks like they've just fallen off and they're gone.
Does it know I'm on its arm?
Let's find out.
I don't know how big of a thing this is. I don't know how aware of like weight and whatnot. I'm
It does
very
not
fit.
notice that you are there at the moment.
You
This
are.
is very like Shadow of the Colossus thing. It is
Yes.
You
it
are
is
a
a
flea on
Yes.
it.
gargantuan creature.
Okay.
It is a large creature.
Cool. Cool.
So it like takes up a 20-foot square, at the very least. So it is around 4x4, more than 8 or 10 times the size. Way more than that because you're this tiny little halfling. So, yeah, it starts to fly away, another 120 feet away. As Bast and Len, you are falling slowly down this. Len, you are unconscious. And, like, you have a concussion, you're bleeding out the ears.
Not doing too close.
You got, like, blood on the back of your skull. So what we're going to do is as we go into this next round, you're going to roll a death saving throw for me. Yeah, you can roll this one. Well...
You're so mean.
Do you have any potions on you or anything healing wise that I would know about?
No.
Okay.
No.
All that we know is that he probably has some vials of blood, but
Okay, and I'll also say very few people can see you or really know what's going on with you, so roll it and just text it to me. Don't tell anybody else.
I can see him, right? We're both
yeah,
falling.
yeah, you're both falling. He looks unconscious and he's bleeding.
Can I do like the skydiver, like
If you
You want to try to?
streamline?
wait, if you touch him, doesn't the spell fade?
No, it's if
You have to alight on a surface.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
okay.
whether you're grabbing onto a rope or
Ah,
touching a
gotcha,
landmass, and like you have to be stable onto something. Yeah,
I mean,
You have to
you
land.
fed him some of the blood last time. So
You have to.
yeah.
land.
It just
know it's
says
there.
land. It doesn't say anything
Right,
else. Than that. Yeah,
okay, okay.
You have to be supported essentially
Yeah.
by
some sort of thing that
solids.
can hold your weight, other than another falling person. Doesn't really make any sense. Cool.
But yeah, so I want to try and like.
Cool. I would say that's just straight dexterity.
I mean, as a person of the ocean, can I like swim through the air?
You can attempt. Go ahead and roll a dexterity check.
I mean, at terminal velocity, is it really that different?
It's kind of what I was going for. 14.
14. You're making progress. You'll get to him before you guys hit the ground. You guys are also like thousands of feet up in the air.
Right.
Meaning you guys fall at 60 feet per minute. This thing lasts for only
Per
a minute.
round,
We don't
right?
know. 60 feet per round, yes. 60 feet per round. We don't know if the spell is going to last the entire way down.
So 600 feet, and it's probably further than that.
It is further than that, yes. You've seen this happen before. You know you have like a minute to try to figure something out before you start free falling again.
Okay.
You're on it. What do you want to do?
How far away has it gotten at this point?
It's about from the cliffside, about 100 to 120 feet.
Is it going back out, or
It's going, yeah, back out, straight back out.
I guess, do I get the sense that it's gonna try to do another one of those passes, or is it like it's leaving?
Hard to tell. You want to roll an insight check?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
9.
9. You remember watching the dragonflies flit about on the side of the Razorfang near the endless stairs, and how they would move and stay still and stay in a single spot and then quickly dart in another direction, and it was always difficult to try to catch them because you really hard to tell where they were going, because they could take a turn on a dime and just fly backwards without actually banging or turning. So it's really hard to tell what this thing is going to do. It seems to have the same type of dexterity, only hindered by the fact that it has much more mass. So it has to make a little bit more telegraphed movements. But the amount of air and thrust that it's pushing with its wings give it an extreme amount of mobility. So it's very, very hard to tell. It could. It does look like the rider, because you can see the rider is not looking or turning around or turning their head. They're just straight and looking where they're going.
Okay. Based on where I am, how much of a climb would it be to get behind the rider?
You'd have to climb up the arm and around the thorax. So I would say, like, how much feet?
Yeah.
I would say maybe about like 20-foot climb.
Okay.
You could do it, but you'd be fighting wind resistance and inertia the whole way.
Okay. I'm gonna try to do that.
Okay, cool. I'll say just roll a. This would be, I believe, a dexterity saving throw, because you have to let go of limbs to grab on. It's very Shadow of the Colossus when you're fighting that big flying one, where if you let go for a second, it's like you just
25.
25? Yeah, you are able to do it. Sometimes you have to like pull your limbs and hang upside down and then flip your way up. You do all these crazy maneuvers to make sure that you stay behind the arm so you can't be seen. And you eventually find yourself on the thorax near where one of these saddles are, and this thing is He's right behind you, so it's splitting the air. You're right behind it, so it's splitting the air, so you're not being hit as much now. I will say, though, to stand up, to make yourself like fully in battle stance, at least fully capable of your battle stance, it would be risky, to say the least. But you are technically at this moment considered prone while you're on this thing.
Looking at this rider, I'm assuming there's like a saddle or something. Are there any straps, ropes
that fasten the saddle to the thing?
fasteners
Yes.
that fasten the saddle to the bug, and also that fasten the rider to the saddle?
The rider looks like they have an extra set of appendages that they grab onto the saddle horn, and their feet also have like opposable appendages on them as well. So they have grabbed onto the stirrups and the saddle horn, and that's how they're fastening themselves. They're not like tied in or anything. It appears they have like 3 pairs of like arms. Well, 2 legs and like 2 sets of arms. Very insectoid style. So just they're grabbing on. They're pretty firmly in the saddle, but the saddle does look like it's fastened, especially from the bottom, with some sort of fibrous material. It doesn't look like rope or hemp or anything like that. It looks like a different type of fiber, maybe like an odd bamboo, or like or maybe mycelium. You've seen how weird the flora is, so it's probably just something local. It doesn't look like unsturdy. It looks like it's good, but in order to get to it, you'd have to go onto the underside.
So none of the straps are within reach.
They would be within reach if you can at least get to like try to get on the side of the creature rather than just on top of the creature, or try to hang from the underside.
Okay.
Just because of the rider is a full medium creature, much taller than you. Wow, that should not be a thing. Okay, stop that, please.
Yeah, but you need to know you have updates.
So there we go. You'd have to move a little bit to try to get full access to that. Unless you wanted to like jump on the saddle too and try to hang to the side, but then they would absolutely know you're there.
Okay.
You're at the point where the wings attach to the being, to the dragonfly, like that part of the thorax, and so you're getting all that very loud noise. So any noise you make, they probably can't hear. But you'd have to move to get access to those fasteners.
Okay, I'm just gonna hold on for now. Wait, my
Okay,
options.
cool. So
How far away is it?
about 120 feet away.
Okay, that's within range.
You want to shoot at it again?
I want to try and shoot at the rider.
Okay, cool. Oscar's right in front of the rider,
Oh,
so if you
really?
you're fine because you can't hit allies.
The meme
But if you roll very badly, you could hit Oscar. If you roll very, very badly.
I mean, we'll try just rolling.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Won't be the first time, even if it happens.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, not bad. 21.
21. Yeah,
Yes.
you hit and are able to wing the rider in the shoulder as you right over your shoulder, Oscar. This arrow just comes lasering through and hits this guy in the shoulder as they turn around to look behind them and see you there.
6 damage.
6 points of damage. Cool. Bless you. Do you want to shoot again?
All right, I can do that. Well, I mean, we didn't roll for
Could've
initiative,
been
so
shooting twice
anyway.
this whole time. Forget that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's 22.
22?
And- Yep. And 11 damage.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that hits. You see another one hits as it's like turned around. It gets hit like in the arm as it seems to be like pulling up its arm in surprise from you being behind there. Anybody else?
Are there reins? Or other, like, is there a manual means of controlling this creature? Or
Yes, there are. What appears to be its second set of arms is holding onto the saddle horn. Its first pair of arms is holding onto a set of like fibrous or perhaps this looks a little bit more metallic, like some sort of very fibrous metal, like how sometimes gold can be spun into like a braid and very, very, very fine.
Okay.
It appears to be like that. That does appear to hook into the mandibles of this large dragonfly. That it is holding. That is now being only held with one arm as it got shot in the other arm with the arrow. What'd you like to do?
I would like to attack the rider.
Okay, go ahead. You are prone. So, if I believe... Yeah, you have disadvantages on attack rolls, but I think you do already because you're exhausted.
I'm not exhausted.
Okay, so you just have disadvantage in the attack roll. Unless you want to stand up and risk being carried off.
14.
14. 14 doesn't really hit. You see as it's seen you, as it turns around, it takes the hand that just got hit with an arrow and kind of deflects it with some of the chitin on its forearm.
Okay.
You want to try it again?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Uh, 12. That doesn't hit. Punching him.
Okay. So you try to ting ting, trying to punch.
I get to reroll ones. Nope, that's an 8. Punching him again.
Got it, I
I
saw
don't
it
have
now.
a
Okay.
key because this is. That is 15.
15. 15 does just hit.
Stunning strike.
Stunning strike. Okay. Tell me how much damage first, too.
Unarmed 4.
4 points of damage.
points
It
of
got
damage.
it 18 on its Constitution saving throw.
Dang it. Okay.
So you do like punch it right in like the floater rib area. Does you hear like the tiniest bit of like crack from the chitin that it's like kind of grown armor on itself. And you did do some damage, but it doesn't look very happy, and it looks fully capable, but it's still steering a giant bug while you're punching it. Anybody else? Yeah.
So
Did he roll for this?
nobody can see this, but
He did.
I've seen it come down, and where all the like local flora and fauna are like spread out. I'm going to move over to where it looks like it's safe to be, and just kind of get down on all fours, ready to like run over, dash over while I'm invisible, and get on the thing. Next time it goes and banks, probably for Maeve.
Okay, so you want to get closer to the cliff, then.
Yes.
Okay.
But in like a safe distance away. I don't want to take any risks with
Okay,
it coming
cool.
down because I've seen that. I'm not dealing with that.
Okay.
Like 15 feet from me, kind of fish.
It's up to you.
That's the end of that one. It's going to, so it flies, it doesn't bank around, it continues to fly further away, out over the Vega. And then the rider is going to turn around. You see it turn way more than it should be able to as it rotates like its entire thorax around to you and take one of its free hands and pull out a golden scimitar and try to slash you with it. That is a 19 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. That is 10 points of slashing damage. It's going to try to slash again at you. That's a 20 to hit.
Yep.
Same thing, 10 points of damage.
Okay.
You still up?
Yes.
Okay. That's that round as the dragonfly moves further away. So it's now about 420 feet away at this moment. Because it's just dashing and moving very, very fast.
I'm trying to get to Len still.
Okay, cool. Yeah, go ahead, roll another dexterity check.
15.
15. Okay, yeah, I say like you can probably just kind of like reach out your fingers and he starts like spinning as you like barely touch him and then he starts moving away a little bit. You're like, ah, damn it. And you move and you just grab some of the moving parts of the drawstrings from his deep V tunic as you grab onto it and you pull it and it tightens it up and like kind of pulls it up as he's zippering up the tunic and you are able to yank him towards you as you're grabbing onto him, his shoulders, his broad shoulders.
In a very flattering way.
Yeah.
Is that my turn?
Not necessarily. I mean, I would say count that as like part of your movement. Guess
No,
maybe
no,
I don't know.
Jam my wrist into his mouth.
Jam your wrist into his mouth.
Cut my.
You wanna feed him.
on his fang.
Okay, cool. Sure. You have mechanics that tell you exactly what you get when you're fed, right?
I have like I have some shit.
It's like a bite attack or something like that.
Yeah. Wait, no, I have that shit written down.
I mean, yeah, I'm doing enough damage to myself. that
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
damage,
Okay.
right?
I'll say. Yeah, just do whatever you would do with
Yeah,
that.
you get when I bite something, they take a D4 piercing, and I get the amount of health back that I do in piercing.
It's not temporary, right? It's just
It's
health
just
points?
health. It's
Yeah.
just
Okay.
health.
Go ahead. Yeah. So I'd say, are you trying to like really hurt yourself and bleed yourself in him?
Enough that I bleed. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'll
like-
say, if you want to, you can do max damage to yourself.
Okay.
So you can do 4 damage to yourself, and you get 4 hit points as you come like to wake me like, that's good. Oh. As you come, like you kind of stir back to consciousness while you're slowly falling
I'm like
with some tasty blood in your mouth.
somewhat
And
wrapped around you with my.
so he's
wrist
like
jammed in
straddling
your-
you with his legs wrapped around you, and he's got his arm and he's feeding you.
I wake up. Upon
you're
waking
falling in
up,
the
I
sky.
immediately grab your arm as tightly as I can, and unhinge my jaw to bite in you again. And I see who you are. I'm like, I close my mouth. I'm like, sorry.
Okay,
But-
cool. You like unhinge your jaw and you start to bite again, and then you're like, you pull yourself out. You're not hungry right now, are you?
I shouldn't be now.
Okay, good. So
we fed him the pixie blood.
yeah, so no need to
Yeah.
to
Already
roll a
today,
wisdom save to
so.
see if you can stop feeding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I got some good news and I got some bad news.
So instead of me dying, we're both gonna die.
That's the bad news.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys are moving slowly, but there's still enough that you're like, there's still wind moving past. whipping
Unless you
past
got any ideas.
I'm just gonna hug, clench as hard as I can.
This is kind of
see
hot. I don't
how
understand
much,
what's
how
happening.
much can I cushion? How much can I cushion his fall?
Oh, if you want to like be
Yeah,
like
I'm
you're
be
be
like,
his
if we're both
cushion,
gonna
his
die-
crash pad.
Yeah, I'm like, we're both probably gonna die. I'm gonna see. Maybe I can keep you alive by pancaking myself.
There's one way to find out.
So I'll try that.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't ship it before, but
Did you want to try to shoot it again?
yes, it's at a
420
disadvantage.
feet away.
Yes, it's at a disadvantage, but I can still shoot at it.
Yeah, because you have like 800-foot range, right? At long range. Yeah, I think you have like
6.
320, 800. Something.
600.
Okay.
Anything over 150 though is at disadvantage.
Right. So this is still at disadvantage. Yeah.
So
150 to 600. What's up?
I'll just do it when she's done.
11 to hit.
11 goes wide. It's just very far away. You're trying to like compensate by angling it up more.
Oh yeah, I do get a second shot, don't I?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that for me. Oh. Well, no matter which one I picked, they're both 14 plus 7, so 21 to hit.
21 will hit. Yeah. Go ahead.
Are we gonna fall past anything, or is it just like us ground?
And that's another.
You can like get a better look as you're falling now. This landmass that you were on is fully floating. It's not attached to the ground at all.
Okay.
It's another one of those floating isles, except this one seems to be like askew. Now that you're looking at it, it appears to be askew a little bit, and by the one tether that's attaching it to the ground, and that's like kind of holding it as the other side is trying to continue to float up. Like something that was on a surface of the water that can float, and you only pull it down one side. It's all weird and cattywampus. That's what you can see now. Doesn't look as you're looking down, it's still very far, but there are those things that I was describing before that kind of dot the landmass of the Vega down before you. Some of those tall-ish
Yeah.
pieces
more
and
what it, like,
mounds.
Are we gonna fall past anything at any point?
It's hard to tell right now just because of how far up you are, but it's very possible. You could crash into something. There's not a whole lot down there. The Vega is more of a prairie, like as I was talking before. It has it's more of a marsh and dell and that type of thing. So there's not enough foliage like a rainforest where you could start crashing into branches that would slow your fall as you hit down there.
I got an idea.
Okay,
I just
cool.
wanted to know if there was anything.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot here. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, 6 damage. by the way.
6 damage.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this thing's taking hits. You hear another arrow boom, thunk, thunk into the abdomen behind you as you can now see a couple that have hit this thing and a couple burn and scar spots from some eldritch blasts. This thing is getting hurt. But it's also very quickly in the next like 6 seconds going to be completely out of range of your
Oh, I wanted to try and hit
And
the,
so are you.
I wanted to try and hit the rider, but I guess I don't have a choice in that.
Oh wait, did you want to hit the rider?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
misunderstood.
sorry, no, I was aiming for the rider.
Okay, yeah. Another arrow hits the rider. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So do you see 3 arrows in this thing, and he's just super not happy about it.
I was gonna add also while falling. I'm gonna use the second level cure wounds on fast.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do so.
So you guys.
Oscar, what do you want to do
I'm
on this
going
thing?
to use
You get 11
an
health.
unarmed attack for my attacks this time to boost my AC.
Okay.
I want to keep attacking him.
Okay.
At disadvantage. Unless I can crawl up on the saddle around, like, I'm assuming the
Do you
saddle-
want to like pop up in the saddle with him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say why don't you go ahead and roll either an acrobatics or contested acrobatics or athletics with it, as you try to like kind of squeeze into its space and saddle while it's sitting into it.
That's not great. That is a 7.
It's also a 7.
Okay.
So do it again.
Oh, it's not who has the higher base dex?
No, because you get to choose
Dice.
whether it's acrobatics or athletics. It can only do athletics.
Okay. That was 13?
13, it got a 12. So you're able to push into it. You can like the only really spot for you to do this as you kind of grab its waist and swing around with the wind and use yourself to slingshot. You sit in its lap, pretty much, with the saddle horn behind you, and that kind of keeps you nestled in that spot, so you're okay. But you're sitting, you're not prone anymore.
Not a huge fan of the visual, but it works.
Okay, there's really no other place to
Yeah.
do this.
Okay, I'm going to punch him several times.
Okay, you just sit in his lap.
Yep, that's exactly what's going down.
Go like, Daddy.
That's a dirty 20.
Santa, this is what I want for Christmas.
That's a dirty,
You to be beat up.
Dirty 20 to hit.
Dirty 20, yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Martial arts.
Oh, yeah.
That's 6.
Martial lap dance.
8 damage.
Into the marital one.
8 damage. Okay.
Stunning strike.
Okay. That's a 19 on a Constitution save.
Okay. I'm going to punch him again. That is a 19 to hit.
The hits.
That is 6 damage.
6 damage. Okay. No,
Stunning
not
strike.
looking great, but they appear to be wearing a little bit ornate stuff, so they appear to be someone that's somewhat not just a grunt, someone that has some authority. They're also riding this thing, so you probably have to be up at a certain point in the hierarchy in order to do that.
Stunning strike.
Another stunning strike. You got it. Another 19. It's the third 18 I've rolled for this guy for every stunning strike.
Once more into the well.
Yeah, you got it.
16 to hit.
16. Yeah, you crack as you hit its like jaw and mandible-ish area, and then 2 crack spots in its chest and by its where its rib cage may have been if it didn't have an exoskeleton.
4 damage.
4 points of damage. Okay, yeah, looking like it's you're beating it up.
Stunning strike.
Okay. That is a 15.
Dang it.
You only have a +1 too.
My wisdom is not that high.
Yeah. Okay, you just but you hear crack, crack, crack. You do then hear. Ooh, this is a very good point. Okay. You do then see what looks like some flames kind of scuffle up from the bottom of the thorax of like under where you are as you feel some heat and you see some small sparks of flame as you had felt some sort of impact from under it. And you hear, "Damn it!" That's it. Bastion, what are you doing?
Pull out my spear gun.
Sure.
And my rope.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I'd say you are the longer you fall, the farther away you are getting from this because it curves inward.
Yeah.
What's the range for that?
Oh no, it's not for that. It's for last ditch effort.
Oh, you're trying to harpoon the rock.
Like if we fall past like one of those big mushroom trees.
Oh, and try to swing. Yeah. Okay. So what is there's like there are some large mushrooms. Yes, like speckled out. They're nowhere near as prolific as some of the other ones.
That's why I asked if we were gonna fall.
It's possible.
near anything.
I would say that you probably want to move and angle yourself if you want to try to get closer to one of those. It would also be a softer fall because you'd fall on like the cap of a mushroom, but it would suck. It'd still hurt like hell.
Yep.
But yeah, I understand. You want to turn kinetic vertical motion into
swing
lateral
it,
curve
yeah.
motion. I understand. Yeah. So just a bunch of G's, but yeah, slow you down. Cool. Yeah. You want to Indiana Jones whip this thing. Cool.
Correct.
Sure. It's gonna be a while because you still have got quite a bit
Got
of
a couple
feather
minutes to
fall.
fall in.
So that also means that you have time to kind of position yourself.
I want to like harness myself with this rope and then tie it to the harpoon.
Yeah, absolutely. You can absolutely do that. No big deal. I'd say with the amount of time you have too, you would be able to, no roll required, position yourself where you are somewhat over one of the large mushroom things. It's about like 20 to 30 feet tall
I mean, Len, if you got any better ideas,
or more, depending on, because
now's
they
the time
grow a
to
little
speak
bigger.
up.
out
But
here.
I'm aiming for one of those mushrooms.
I've got nothing.
Are y'all already like past the end of the?
It's been a couple of rounds. We're 200 feet down,
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
and
like-
if it was angled away from us,
You're
like,
getting farther and farther away
Oh,
from the
okay.
floating
Got it.
island.
I don't want to do tricks
Because
You know
they're
what?
falling
But
straight
we're-
down, but like it's kind of like a cone-ish, like a
yeah,
thing,
yeah, I
so it's-
gotcha.
Yeah.
You know what?
And
I have a
rope's only 50 feet long, so we're definitely
A squared, B
50
squared,
yeah.
C squared. Both
We're more
yellow.
than 50 feet away from
What's up?
anything I could shoot at the moment.
You know what? I have this vial of unicorn blood on me. I'm just gonna drink it, see if it does some weird shit to me. Like,
You want-
who knows?
Turn into a Pegasus.
You want to drink it, the unicorn blood?
Yeah, I'm just gonna take a drink, see if it does some weird shit. I got nothing else to try.
Okay.
I give it to Maeve. Oh, does Bass have it? Or
I've got one.
I know I give my booster pod to Maeve.
Yeah, I think I still had it.
Osfer has one, and I think Maeve
Maeve
has
has
the
it.
other one. Yeah, and they're both like have been opened up and used a little bit. You gonna drink your unicorn blood? Okay, we're gonna get to that in a moment.
Oh boy. Len turns into a horse.
You just turn into a horse and continue to fall.
I mean, if you can turn into like a Pegasus or something
Oh my
like
God,
that,
yes.
and like fly us out of here.
Maybe.
Spider horse.
But if you turn into a horse and drag me
The-
down, then-
Yes,
That's
yes,
just me.
Sleipnir, the eight-legged
That's just me
auction
falling
horse.
then.
That's
We'll see what happens.
But no.
Okay, so
So Leo.
No, I mean, if I was tying a harness, I would have like slung it around you too. So like,
yeah,
we're
you
tied.
can figure it
together.
out. Yeah, you guys can be tethered together. it's fine.
You're gonna start time and be like, wait.
Like as he is mounted on you, straddling you, wrapping this stuff around you, you're like, wait.
Let me take a drink. See what happens.
You're like, wait, stop.
I'm thirsty.
Don't move a little slower. As you drink the unicorn blood.
Like pinky out, like you got
Yeah, yeah.
style. Typical
Saving
Oriole
this
or
for a
like.
special
You're like,
occasion.
wait, yes, wait, this is champagne. It's nice.
But
It's a nice
also-
year.
Also-
this is
also-
wild. This aerial free fall, just
This is very
moment you guys
thrilling.
are having together. Okay, Osfer, we'll go back to you then. What do you want to do?
I want to continue to attack this guy.
Okay, cool. Continue to push this. Oh, right. It gets. I forgot. It gets to attack you.
Maybe it doesn't. and Maybe it's not.
Maybe it doesn't. That's
Maybe
a
it forgets.
13 to hit you.
He's like just
Okay, so
sorry.
it tries to sweep. You're just guys in so close quarters and weird. It's hard to get a good angle at you, and you just kind of lean back a little bit. That is a 18. As you kind of dodge as it pulls its scimitar through you and everything, and then it just re-angles it, stabs you with it.
That is my armor class.
So it hits you. Yeah. That is max damage. That's 12 points of damage.
Okay.
You still up?
I am. I need
Okay.
to move. my marker.
Okay.
This is dying. Oh, wait, was that it?
Yeah, that was his last turn attacks. I just
I
forgot
like
to
that
do
Tony's
it.
just like
Yeah.
hanging out.
Point and punch him.
Sometimes, like,
Go
damn,
ahead.
This is crazy.
It is now
Great voice
720 feet
actor.
away.
Yes.
You can
that's-
still
Oh
fire at it, I
yes.
believe.
Well, no. On.
That's an 8.
Is it 8?
I'm assuming
No, it doesn't hit. Yep. It's like starting to catch your fists in
That's
its
a
extra hands.
19
No, I think 600 is my max range.
for 5 damage.
Okay, 5 damage.
Stunning strike.
Yeah, of course. It's looking a little beat up. That is
150
a 9.
regular,
Yes!
600
So it's stunned.
Yes!
So you see it
I
like
shove him off the saddle.
you want to shove him
Yes.
off. Okay, it's like the it's got like kind of like the rigor mortis thing because all of its muscles is frozen. So one of its thing is its feet are still very much firmly grabbing onto the stirrups as it's fighting you with its other hand. But you will have advantage, I'll say, and it will have disadvantage for the athletics check that you'll need to. Well, it just doesn't. It doesn't get it automatically. It can't do it, but you just have to be able to pull it off of the thing. 9. You just like you get one of the legs free as you hear like some appendages and fingers like snap from the chitin just snapping off, and it is askew, but it's still holding on with the other one, and it's still frozen in that position, so it's hard to like get. It's like trying to get the glass biscotti out of the weird glass jar that's not big enough to pull it out, and so he's like in his saddle horse position, like hard to pull off because his like heel is getting attached to the side, but it's very close, but just not enough.
Can I try again, or do I need to wait for it?
That was so. I would say that you punched him twice, and you tried to pull him. That's probably what you could do.
Okay.
Because that was a lot. The reins are free, however,
I will take
because
the reins.
you can. Next round, you can. They're kind of like flying free in the wind, whipping. You do hear another. You do feel some more fire and heat from below you. And you're like, yes! And you see one of the fasteners whip as one of them has come free.
Oh God, no! This ruins my plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back on land, I'm just there like, Talio? Anybody? Talio? Are you still here?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I didn't know. I thought maybe you would try to jump on the bug.
No, I'm still here. No.
Okay. So I think it's just.
Do you see them down there? Have you looked over the edge?
No. I don't want to fall. It's
That's fair.
yeah.
I'm on all fours prone looking over. It's a very safe way to look over the edge. I still don't
Are you
recommend it.
are you done being invisible?
No.
So I'm just over here like hearing an invisible cat. Okay.
Yes.
Doing great.
Do you have one of those? Didn't you have wings at some point?
I did. From the Bahaustra Path.
And that's your turn.
Yes. It can be both of our turn.
Yeah, sure. It's just a long
Well.
conversation.
Well, no, I mean we're
had a
just
little
back
time.
here. We
Yeah. It's still within range, I believe, right?
no.
720.
Yeah, no. My
It should be 800. Your longbow. isn't it?
6.
600. Ah, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys are just chatting. Totally fine. You guys still doing your thing?
Trying
Trying to follow him up.
Trying to.
So-
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, he was gonna drink
I
the
drank
unicorn
blood.
first.
Right. You.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Okay. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to roll a D100.
I don't have
Wait,
that.
wait.
You don't have that.
Okay.
The actual D100
Oh, yeah.
though.
Yeah, let me use the actual D100. This is gonna like bust a hole in the side of this.
That's hefty. Oh my God.
64.
64. Okay.
That's why we use the
You like kill
leather,
someone with that.
that little octagon dice roll tray. That's why we roll it in
Right.
there, because
Oh, I
It's
see.
not gonna
yeah.
destroy this.
it's nice and padded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll remember that.
Oh wow, that is really chunky. It's a big chunky boy.
The
But-
word of the game is chunky.
64. You said correct.
Yeah, Len sprouts wings and he can fly for 5 years.
It's cool.
Bat.
I wish I could do that.
Oh, that feels good.
You see, you see Len. Len, you feel just kind of a tingle around your forehead area, like your third eye area, as you see this thing like what looks like magic and twinkle and sparkle. So braid itself together as a horn appears right between on his forehead. Where you just kind of feel tingle. You don't see anything. It's weird.
You could be horny.
Okay, rope.
And there's a thing there. It appears to be like there temporarily, as it appears to be very quickly like withering at the same time.
Can I do anything with it? I'm
Yeah,
gonna like
what do you want to do?
I'll like tap my hand to it
Yeah, sure. You tap your hand to it, and it kind of like falls off, like a toenail that was like almost ready to come off, or like a tooth that was just about to come off, and you can grab it, and you have it now.
I'll grab it and be like,
What are you gonna do with it?
that's a nice last meal, I guess.
What are you gonna-
I'll just. Do I know what this is?
It looks like a unicorn horn. It's all like pearlescent and sparkly, and
Does it have any like magical properties or things that I like?
it
know?
looks like it's sparkling with magic.
I'll like tap my shoulder with like a wand or whatever.
You tap your shoulder with it. Your shoulder turns into a brick.
What the actual fuck?
Okay, also a very important question. Is Lynn currently sparkling as well?
Your forehead area is
He's a Cullen.
A brick like the thing?
like a
Or-
building brick, like yeah, like
He's now a Twilight
like
vampire.
a brick to build buildings with mortar
I'll
and
swish
cement.
it
and
around
stuff.
the air.
Like a burnt sienna colored brick. What's up?
I'll swish it around the air. Is there
You
anything
swish
happening?
around it in the air, a bunch of bricks appear. And like they start to stack themselves before you in one side and build a partial wall that just kind of floating in front of you. You twist and it follows that orientation.
I'm like kind of like freaked out by this. I'm just gonna throw it away.
You
Point the brick wall down.
It's just gonna break my spine then. You want to like create like a brick? Do they float in the air?
Yeah, they're floating
Oh, you
in
said
the
they
air,
float
like
in the
they're staying in the same spatial orientation, the same feet away from you as you. They're like stuck in space time
Oh, I
from
didn't
you.
realize that.
Like they are like as you turn your sternum, they move with you and they stack. Like
Okay.
they're
my,
like
my
magnetically
assumption was that
stuck
like
there.
if I put it under us, we still have momentum. It'll just kill both of us instantly. You know what? I'll like.
You make like a brick parachute.
That's a great idea.
Oh my god.
I don't know. It's fucking weird. I don't know.
I'm
how
just.
it works.
I'm gonna make some like under us.
Okay, cool. Like you, what do? You
Just like on.
You start waving and twisting around. You see,
Yeah. Who
just
knows?
a bunch of
Maybe-
bricks, just like almost like very very tiny particles, like get big, kind of like Ant-Man, just out of nowhere, and start stacking each other. And you see it starting to form like what looks like the bottom face in the interior of a cube of brick, as the one wall that encompasses your entire area starts to build itself and partially build like the corners that start to go up around you and connect to that one side that was built partially.
Okay. I don't know if
And it's just staying in that space. Like as you turn, it turns with you, but it's not connected to you anyway physically. But it's stuck in
Like-
that space relative to you.
Wind resist. Like, are we?
You're no longer getting wind because the brick is blocking it, but you're not touching it. It's just floating in the space relative to you. It's staying like 3 feet away from you in every direction.
Huh.
And it's like looks like it's building a cube almost around you. At least the bottom part is, as you were waving it at the bottom.
I don't know what to do with this. I guess we'll hope that it somehow
Breaks our fall.
breaks our fall, but we'll do whatever you're doing. Get back to it.
Okay.
You see, like Len was like about to throw it away, and I was like, no, wait. He's like,
Try
okay.
something.
Meanwhile, they're just over there playing Lynn.
Cool.
I know.
That's all I can
Yes,
do.
we're playing.
You did your thing
Minecraft.
already, right?
You do
like a
the thing in
mod.
Minecraft where you like
Should be
break your fall
the
with this and block
stunned
door.
person.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Should be the
Mr.
stunned.
Twilight vampires
insect
playing
don't even start.
Minecraft in midair.
This is who I
Right,
am.
he can't take his
Select
turn.
the water block.
I'm rewriting
Can't do
my
anything.
character.
Oh, keep shutting him.
That'll be you next.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
you gotta hit the triggers to switch.
he's stunned until the beginning of your next turn.
Into my next turn.
And that's fucking sucks.
Or
Yikes.
slime block.
Okay,
Or slime.
Yeah, was it?
we move into the next. You guys are still falling. You guys are still chatting. You want to try to continue to push him?
100%.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
That's better.
What would fall
That's
faster, a ton of vampires or a ton of bricks?
It was athletics? Or
Yes,
acrobatics?
yes.
Or is it a strength check?
Is athletics.
12.
12. Yeah, I'd say you'd be able to like get him last second
Yes.
pushed off.
My shoulder's
You see
breaking
just the
out.
frozen form of them fall straight down with like the sword and all the limbs, and you hear some chitinous appendages snap off. Then you hear, yes! Oh, shit. As Pip seems to be throwing firebolts at the underthorax. You hear another thing, and the saddle moves
Shit.
very jarringly. Appears to be now only hanging by a thread, as if you're now like hanging sideways on the saddle, holding on to it only with your thunder thighs. And he's falling down. The stunned the rider is falling down, and then becomes unstunned at some point, and is like, and begins to flail.
I grab the reins and yell down to Pip, "Stop! I've got the reins." I mean, he must have seen the guy fall.
Yeah, you're yelling at Pip.
Yeah.
The creature still has it in a death grip.
Yeah.
Pip's not going anywhere. But yeah, okay. He's like, sorry.
Yeah.
You do see as it's falling, it begins to flail. It pulls out its back and begins to pull its wings out and begins to flutter. It still looks like it's falling.
Okay.
It doesn't look like it has like full flight capabilities as much as it has like glide capabilities.
Okay.
It doesn't seem to be able to gain altitude.
Okay. I want to use the reins and fly to them.
Fly to where they are?
Yes.
Okay. Are you proficient in mounted combat or
Vehicles?
or
Nope.
okay.
I am winging it.
Okay, you're winging it. So I'll say roll an animal handling check at disadvantage for me.
How hard can it be, guys? Right? Come on.
Just don't bug out.
Those were both 8s. So 11.
11. You're like, okay, I get the basics. If I pull this way, it forces its head this way and it'll turn. If I pull that way, which way are you trying to turn, left or right?
Whatever direction they're falling in.
I mean, they're directly behind you,
Then-
so you have to turn around some way.
Yeah, either way.
Okay,
The way that is farthest away from the falling, gliding.
okay, so you'll turn right because he fell off the left side. You'll turn right. You pull, somewhat hard at it, and rather than banking, it just barrel rolls. So go ahead and roll I'm going to say a strength saving throw to hold on while it flips upside down.
Okay, that's not too bad. That's a 16.
16. All right, you're on. You've vice gripped your thighs onto this thing, that saddle that's much too large for you, as you're pretty much got your ankles locked around the saddle horn, and you're no longer sitting on the saddle. You're just holding onto the saddle horn, which is hanging by a thread from one of the fasteners, which is now upside down as you are holding the reins, and Pip and you just kind of swap spaces as this thing just turns. It slightly banks, but it mostly just barrel rolls in that way. But you're holding on. I think that's your turn. Yeah, what's up?
Oh, meanwhile on our side, we're just like,
Can they see that?
we saw someone fall off.
Probably. Yeah.
We just saw someone fall off. We're
What
like,
do your elf eyes see, mate?
did Oscar fall too?
He'll be fine.
I'm slow fall.
Oh shit, it's coming back!
So it didn't turn around. It did this.
It slightly did, but it more barrel rolled. Yeah, it moved circumvently rather than.
That Mario
Yeah,
game
banking.
with Cat Mario, you just back up.
Because you just like pull. Like, okay, pull. Turns upside down. So. Yeah, that's where you are. I guess, if nothing else, you guys are just continually doing what it is that you're doing.
Yep.
You have the unicorn horn in your hand. It does appear to be like the more you're using it, the more it seems to like deteriorate and kind of like turn to this kind of like shriveled thing that begins to, because there's somewhat a good amount of wind, begins to like turn into dust.
Oh, like a burnt off incense.
Kind of like that, yeah.
I feel the call of the void. It's like, what if I turned Oscar's head into a brick? And then I like put it away.
You put it away?
I'm just gonna hold it and like not do anything with it. Like I'm holding like irradiated material. Or
Okay, you're
something.
just gonna be like,
Yeah.
okay, got it, cool. You guys are still trying to move. That's fine. I will say, you guys don't have wind resistance on you very much anymore, so it's getting a little more difficult to surf the wind because it's now blocking it. You also now can't see below you at all.
I mean, it's a giant flat piece of brick, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So,
it's not
like,
giant. It's like 8 feet in
But
on
like,
the side.
if he bends, that tilts us.
Yeah. If you
We
bend,
can
it'll
use that
tilt,
to,
and then you
like-
can see. You just have to bend back to see if make
But
sure
I mean,
it's below you.
like bending it would give us like wing. Almost.
Oh yeah, it would give you an
Yeah, like
incline at which you would go.
reverse
Yeah,
sails.
it would give you like a kind of a make
So you can,
using
like-
bricks as a sail.
As a
Yeah,
as a wing,
So dumb.
yeah,
like a paragliding wing.
yeah.
Essentially. And you
Technically, yeah.
can aim us wherever we need to go.
It also doesn't seem to be like have added mass to you. It appears it has its own mass 'cause it's not attached to you, so it doesn't feel like you're. Yeah.
I mean, you're like gripping him from behind still, right? You can probably finesse.
I think it was. I think I was straddling him. I got like my
Yeah.
legs around him.
This is just guide time.
Truly is. What's that thing you're holding?
I'm gonna maybe.
You're holding
should
this
I-
twisting
I feel like,
horn that's
should I do
partially.
this- Should I make a wing?
It's no longer like pointed. The point has come off, so it's more of just like
Yeah.
Chode-esque.
Didn't you
Yeah.
have a plan with like the rope or something?
Yeah, I was gonna try and catch us on one of them mushrooms. So you can like fly us over there,
Fuck it. I'll
like try and slow us down as much as possible.
I'll try to make another wing with it, and try to like.
Like on which? So on which orientation? You have like the one wall that is like where you're below your feet, kind of where your feet are, which is on the bottom. I'll say we'll just keep it in standing orientation, so I don't get super understand what's happening. What side of the 6-sided dice do you want to?
God. Okay, so like this is where the first wall is.
Yeah,
Like-
we'll
like
just
thi-
we'll
like
just
this
keep it in
below
standing
us.
orientation for ease of reference. So
And I'll
there's
try
a
to-
wall below your feet, and it started to kind of bend around the corners to each one of the other walls, but just a little
So
bit.
the bottom is there, and then a little bit of the front.
A little bit of all of the sides connected to the bottom, but just a tiny
Yeah,
bit, like
and
maybe
I
just
wanna try
a
to,
row or
like,
two of bricks.
Make more that's kind of like this. Like a
You wanna
little
try to do it
incline
at
on
an
the
angle?
side. Yeah, so where it could be like this like stupid kind of like wing like parachute like shape, and we could like
God, it is a bit
flip
dark.
around in air.
All right, you wave your the. What do you do with the unicorn horn?
Let's try to. This is a lot of pressure. I'll try to do that. Like I'll wave it down, and like try to move it outwards like in a wing shape.
Okay, you like flicking it, like Wingardium
Yeah,
Leviosa.
kinda,
like-
yeah.
Okay, sure. You do so, and just a straight wall appears in that spot. Just straight. Appears like the building of this thing is pretty set in stone. That's what's happening. But that built starts to as a bunch of the bricks. So you now have this side fully protected, and below you fully protected.
I tried. That's what I got.
It was a good try.
Yeah. What if I wait?
Go. Okay, what's up?
I wanna. It's probably next turn and do something else. I want to drink my pixie blood and see if that does anything. But I'll wait. I'll wait till.
You drink a lot of blood right now.
Yeah.
You're nice
Okay.
and full.
Okay.
He's a real thirsty boy.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys are
Didn't you?
Okay.
How do you get wings?
You guys are okay. Where the thing
Oh.
continues, so the dragonfly still travels in the same direction ish, just a little askew now, a little bit more off to the right rather than straight out into the Vega. Still upside down. You can now see directly as you look
Sure,
up,
when you're
which is
older.
down. The thing appeared that the rider appears to glide very quickly closer to in the direction of what that mega structure was. It's gonna get a good amount of distance before it lands, moving away from you. What do you want to do?
I would like to still try to fly the thing towards Bast and Len.
Okay, so you look up and behind you, which is where they are. Are you trying to make it do like a loop?
Whatever is. I know that there's only like a thread holding the saddle and thus myself onto this thing. I don't want to pull any crazy G's. I want this to be nice and gentle.
Okay, so I think so it was flying like this, then it flipped. So it was flying like this, then it flipped upside down, right? The least G's would probably have it do this move.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like this move, so then it's right side up again.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll another animal handling check at disadvantage.
Man, that was almost awesome. That was a 6.
A 6.
I had a 13 and a 19, and then I rolled back to.
Okay, so you need it to like you pull up, so it goes up. You pull up, but you pull up really hard, and so it makes a much tighter loop, and it starts to go, and it kind of goes up rather than just straight down. And as it does, the force of it kind of flips you off, and you just kind of go sailing past it. The force doesn't really flip you off; it flips the saddle as the saddle snaps, and you are still holding on the saddle. You think everything's good, but there's a moment in slow-mo where you're attached to the saddle, flying off of this thing, still holding on to the reins, floating up. I'll give you a strength saving throw to try to hold on to the reins. You will then know, though, that if you hold on to the reins, when gravity starts to take control again and you begin to fall, and you're still holding on to the reins, you're going to be pulling this thing whichever direction you're falling, and this thing is going to start to fly wildly.
It's that or plummet to my death. So yeah, that is a 10. No, you said strength. So that is a 9.
9. You do your best to pull, and there's like this one last minute yank before the reins snap out of your hands, and there's this moment where you are up, and then you begin to sail down the saddle with you. You begin to fall. Pip sees this and throws a spell at you as his last action that he could do to try to help you, so that you begin falling slow, and that's his last spell slot. You guys are pretty messed up. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, you were asking about my wings I had earlier.
Yeah.
It was.
He's like, no!
This. Hold out the Bahostra pod. You just eat some of this. Here you go.
You don't know. No.
I mean, how many? I think I have 2 charges left.
I think so.
It did have 5 to begin with, so I believe so, yes.
Yes. So I tell you what, we have about enough for 2 bites. Last ditch effort.
The wings only last for a minute.
Oh, the last ditch effort is Cavendish.
I mean, yes.
I have the flute. Oh no, I gave it to you. That's right.
Oh. Okay.
Leo's a little evil.
Point is, you want to each eat half and see what happens?
Yeah, absolutely.
You first. Okay, fine. I'll go first. I just very carefully take off a nice piece. Here, I'll give you the better half.
You see, kind of like.
You drink a little bit of it. Because it's got this gel in it. You have to, you bite it off and then drink it, but yeah.
What?
So you can't. Whatever, it's fine.
No.
You would have to take a sip and then hand it to them, and they would
Yes,
take a sip.
that's
Yeah.
what happened. No. Thing is, I tried. Okay, all right.
But there's only 2 things, so you could snap it
No.
in half and give
Here's
a
what
little
happened though. I drank mine. I'm like, here, now it's your turn. And Leo is just like,
bit. Roll a sleight of hand check to see if you can get away with that.
Do I get advantage since I'm invisible?
Yeah, I guess you do.
This is some much needed comedic relief right now.
18.
18. What's your
Yeah.
passive perception?
it's gone.
I mean, you gave it to them.
Yes.
It turned invisible with them, and that's the last you saw of it.
Yes.
So you can only assume that they drank it.
Really, I think it's quite good.
Roll d20 for me, please.
Oh, that was right.
Who has it written down for what has happened for those yet?
I think you do, yeah.
You had
I did have it.
tore out the
and
papers.
I have it at my apartment.
They were on these.
Oof. That one was supposed to be me. My apologies.
I thought you just threw it in your thing last time.
It's in a new book. It might be in here.
What did you get?
The only one I have.
Oh, 16.
16. I think was that one that happened.
I don't know. The only one I had
There's
was the
3
one that
that-
happened to me. 11 was the water.
11.
We had 1, 20. 20 was the arm. 1 was the puddle.
There was a 14.
I think there was either a 16 or a 17, or there was a 14.
There was definitely
Who has them written?
Someone definitely got a 20. I do remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Okay. So Let's say 14 is the other one, and so this is the new one.
So somebody write these all down now so that we have them. One, you guys remember it better than I do.
20
so-
is the arm comes out of your chest.
One was you turn into a puddle.
Those we can get together after the game.
Yeah, just don't forget,
Yeah.
okay? Because if it happens again, I need it. So, so 16, right? Or 17?
16.
16? Okay.
I'll just get those later.
You're a fighter, right?
And if it is 14, we can just retroactively have this one be.
I think 14 is become incredibly brilliant.
Yeah, if the other one
And
is
if you have
16.
16 or 17, that gives you wings.
I think it was 17 that gave you
17
wings.
then?
Yeah.
Is this it?
It
might be.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. If you look at that page, I like this one.
Yes. 2015. Wait, no, that's something else. Damn it. That was a turn order. No.
Okay, then this was a different session.
Anyway, it's written down, just not here. Anyway, no, 16. So.
Okay, cool. You see parts along your fingers and your hands and along your forearms and your knees and like parts of your feet as it sort of bursts through your shoes and starts to tear and through some of your pants or whatever you're wearing a skirt. So it starts to like give you runs in your stockings as your thighs start to get like really big and strong and they start to like grow these weird forms that look like fleshy suction cups along your body and your hands and your knees and your legs and your feet, and you kind of look like gecko-y fleshy suction cups all over it as you gain a 40-foot climb speed.
I hate this. It ruined my outfit.
I think you look better.
They're like big too. They're not like little suction cups. They're these like these fleshy
Okay.
Cronenberg blob suction cups.
Well,
No, I'm so sorry for your outfit.
okay, well, you're invisible. What happened with you?
I don't know, I'm invisible.
You have that for a minute.
I haven't felt anything.
Okay.
How did it feel doing what you just did?
You have one on your forehead too.
No, nothing felt like that at all. Nothing.
Like everybody could hear Maeve crying from the entire Vega.
Oh, it must be because we're falling and dying. Poor Maeve.
Yeah, it must be that. Not in something so vain.
She's crying for us. Nice.
Okay. Osfer, you are
Wait,
slowly
She does.
Wait.
feather what's up?
Can I make a luck check?
For what?
The Bahostra pod to land in the basket?
What basket?
What?
The bricks.
The
The
brick,
brick basket? Did you
Yes!
throw it off the edge? Okay, it's not gonna reach.
That's
Well,
They're slow falling,
they
and
are
they
slow
basically
falling for.
they made a box.
No, it's just one side. Well, it's two sides right now and a little bit of it. It's not. It's a platform, but it's
doing-
possible. Okay, yeah, sure. Roll a fucking 20. Hey. Shut up. Is it a 1?
No,
20.
20.
You're fucking kidding me.
Oh my god.
This is insane.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So, Bast, you feel like something hit the back of your head for a moment and then and skid along the kind of like corner wedge now because you're weird with your orientation of this thing that where you just see kind of an open, kind of dripping Bahostropod part that's sitting right there in the bit. And there's not very much in it left because a lot of it is you feel like some rain fall down on you. That's a bunch of it's like gel and sap had fallen off of it. But there's some still in there.
Can I reach it?
Yeah, if you want to like move around Len, yeah, you can reach it. Len has to not move because if he moves, then so does the
Yeah,
thing.
I
Oh,
just
what's
like,
that? What's going on here?
He's like, "Where's it at?" And this thing starts shifting from corner to corner. You're like, "No, it's gonna fall off the edge." And you're like, "No, don't move there." You like grab his head.
It's like the
Swivel
ball
around
rolling
his
game
body.
with the-
Yeah, it's one of those games where you have to like get the ball into the maze, the whole thing. Sure. Yeah, I'd say after some comedic movement and everything, like no, and you just kind of like reorient yourself and just end up like behind him, straddling on him in a weird way, and you can reach the Bahostropod if you want.
Cool. In the flesh sack.
You throw it in the flesh sack? Okay.
All right.
Oh.
I just want to have I don't want it to fall out as we're falling. So
I mean, Len, you see all of this.
Anticlimactic.
Do you want to try taking a bite? I'm not gonna have all these bricks behind me.
I mean,
You're so full.
I'm so.
Did you want to drink the pixie blood?
Oh yeah, I want to do that. I'll be like, I
You're
wanna
like,
do that.
you're
I
like,
have all these bricks
cheers.
around me.
Let's
Take another
get the
drink.
Bahostropod. You're like, cheers.
if one of us doesn't die when we hit the ground, feed this to the other one.
Okay.
Well, that's a
This is
good
the most
point.
fun I've had in a long time. I'm about to die.
I'm just imagining Lynn though, like Lynn experiencing fun is just like, we.
Wait, this is awesome.
Wait, this is awesome. Smoke if you got them, and you just keep drinking all of your vials of blood.
Exactly.
Like no point, can't bring it with you. So, yeah, okay. You drink the pixie blood. I believe you've done this before.
I think I did, but I don't remember.
It just
if
healed you.
if
It's just
anything
blood.
happened.
It's nothing too special about it.
Okay.
Because these were pixies that came from the Fae, weren't they? They weren't pixies that you fought in the material realm.
Yeah.
Okay,
no,
that's a
no,
good
this is
one.
no, this is yeah. It's blood.
It was
from
the
material
those
realm.
little dudes, not the big
Yeah.
ones that you fought.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so then yeah, you just feel. You can heal yourself a little bit more if you want.
Cool.
I'd say a D6.
All right. 4. That's gonna matter a lot.
That's what you're doing. That's what you guys are doing.
He's falling.
You have suction cups for body parts now. You're falling. Is there anything you want to do while you're falling slowly, ish?
How far down is it?
I do not
Um,
know what you're doing.
Farther than you're gonna slow fall, or farther than you're going to feather
I'm
fall.
trying to slap you.
It looks like you're at the
invisible.
very least over 1,000 feet up, if
Cool.
not more than that, maybe several. It is you're very, very, very far. The island was, I would say, you know what? Go ahead and roll an intelligence check.
That is a 7.
7. It's over 1,000.
Cool.
Enough where the atmosphere starts to make it a little cloudy, that type of thing, just a little bit. I guess that's it for everybody. You guys let me know when your feather fall stops, because I haven't been keeping track of it. I guess unless you guys want to do anything else, we can just fast forward to the point where you start to free fall.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys want to do anything else. Do you want to make any more brick?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
It's not really doing much for us.
And you're free falling. You're
What is
feather falling.
What is the not the butterfly, but
The
dragonfly doing?
Dragonfly appears to kind of circle like a vulture for a minute before it realizes that it doesn't really have anybody doing it, and it kind of defaults to returning to its hive and starts to go towards that mega structure with Pip still in its clutches.
Cool. In attempts to survive this, I will eat a Bahostra seed pod.
You're going to take a sip of one?
I've got 2 charges left.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and roll a d20. Turn it to a puddle.
That is a 4.
A 4. Okay, that has not happened yet. Okay, you grow. You feel a tingle and it hurts. You feel something hurting from the 2 crowns or the forehead of your head as something appears to burst through your flesh and there's a small spray of blood as what appears to be these vellum kind of antlers start to and sprout out and become these huge antlers. We're talking about 4 spirit size, huge, branching out into a bunch of different things, maybe 7 different branches out. And the antlers themselves, their whole mass ends up being bigger than you are as a person. As You then feel the rest of your body like change as your elbows bend backwards, and so do your knees as you like scream, and rather than like doing the howl that you usually do when you're a wolf, you go like "Woo!" and like scream like a caribou does as you turn into this massive four-spirit elk. It's giant. It's a large creature, still falling, but you do feel like closer to nature and magic and that type of thing as you're kind of just weirdly rotating. You do feel faster. You feel stronger. You do have a new pool of hit points, which is about 65 hit points. And once that goes down, it's like a beast shape. When that goes down, you go back to wherever your hit points were before. So you've like druid beast shaped into this magical elk. You do feel like also innately aware that you do have some magical abilities as this creature.
Do I know what those might be?
What would you like to try to do?
Well, I saw Steering heal people. I'm going to try to cast Cure Wounds on myself.
You're at full health right now.
Well,
Not Osfer's health. You can't heal when you're in this form.
Yeah.
You can only heal this form.
Okay.
Elk
then
spur.
never mind.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can you fly?
Oh my god, yeah.
Does it fly?
How would you like to try to fly?
Elk's fur, good
Cast fly on
meadow.
myself?
You just cast a spell on yourself.
You said I might have magic. I
Sure,
don't
sure.
know.
How do you want to try to cast a spell? Has Osfer ever tried to cast a spell before?
What do
No.
you do with your hooves?
But he thinks what it would be like is to like picture in your mind's eye the thing you want to happen. So I picture like when you're flying but you're asleep and you're just like walking on like really dense air.
Okay, cool.
This majestical forest creature now is like jumping from like point to point in the air as if there were platforms, but there's no
Cool.
platforms.
So you start to like try to push down, and you feel leverage and resistance, and like you did like a double jump in air, like video game style, as you see this ripple of air as though it were water, as you hit leverage and are able to jump, and as you gallop from invisible point to invisible platform, as you make your own leverage in air, and you can see this thing now majestically jumping through the air. So you can make platforms
Okay.
in the air if you want to, just for you as you jump from one.
I want to try to make my
Not
way.
solid. You can only jump off of them.
I want to make my way towards them and scoop them up in my antlers.
Okay, cool. They're very far away. They are about 800 feet away ish.
Okay.
So you move very fast. You have a 60-foot movement speed as you are leaping and galloping towards them. They will start free falling before you get to them. Okay. So we're gonna roll some stuff here.
If that's just like straight up not going to work, can I make it back up to the platform?
You mean up? That's even farther
Even
away.
farther? Oh, okay. Then let's
Because they fell as they were off
Gotcha.
of that thing.
No, to him. The bug
Yeah,
had,
yeah.
had only flown like 400 or so feet before he fell off.
Yeah.
No, it had flown over 800 feet.
Okay.
And because here's the cliff. This is where you guys fell. And then the bug kept flying and flying and flying until it
Right.
did a barrel, and then Osfer fell
Oh, that's right,
down.
because it was out of Maeve's
Yeah.
bow range even.
Yeah. And so you're kind of like doing this jumping thing where you're trying to get to them while they are falling. It's possible.
Okay.
It is possible. I would say, why don't you go ahead and roll me some sort of, I would say, straight dexterity check to see how fast you can get used to this new form and gallop. And
That's a 10.
10. You're making speed. You're moving faster than you ever have. Even as a monk, you're dashing and...
Oh, wait.
and
Check? Sorry. That was a saving throw.
Yeah.
That was a 7.
7. Okay, you're trying.
Yeah.
You're trying. You're moving fast. You're making progress. You're not falling down. You're kind of just like hitting one. It's on a diagonal, like kind of like Ninja Warrior, as you keep going, pushing yourself from leverage to leverage and leverage and galloping between unseen platforms that kind of as you run through the air. And you feel like the wind through your fur, and you You feel all of that heavy air being pushed through that snout as you begin to do that heavy breathing that other quadrupeds, large rideable quadrupeds do. You guys are falling. You have suction cups. Are you just chilling?
That. What is this? I hate this.
Do you just start to cock like Gollum for some reason?
How far am I away from them?
From them, at the moment, I mean, if you're moving just this round 120 feet, that would give you, that would make you within, I'd say, kind of fudging it a little bit, maybe like a little under 700 feet from them.
Yeah, okay, never mind. I was gonna see if I can heal them before this effect fades, but I don't think I'm gonna be close enough.
Petition to call this session a comedy of terrors.
Okay, so unless that's it, we're gonna just move. We're gonna fast forward a bunch of rounds
Yep.
as you, if I'm doing the math correctly, about the time that you get to them as they're moving, you guys start to free fall. You try to dive down. Osfer's going to just about get to you right when he starts to revert back up from his form. Well, actually, no, because this lasts for 10 minutes. So you're gonna be able to get to them.
Oh, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
I thought it was 1 minute.
Yeah, it's like a beast shape. You got time, bro.
Okay.
But it's not as powerful as a beast shape, but it's because it's a more powerful creature. Yada yada, all this weird stuff. So you got time. Write it down. That was 4.
Yep, got it.
So you gallop. You are able to get to them. I'm gonna say if you're trying to catch them in your like cage antlers, like kind of like that, they have a brick. You can like see them better now. You have like a couple brick walls around them. They're just floating around them. You're like, how am I gonna?
Thoroughly confused as to how these even got here.
Yeah, and they're like, you see them like move really fast too as like Len faces you, as they just move super fast as and they match the orientation of Len. You guys see this
An elk.
this like
Running
magical
through the air at us?
like caribou type elk that's just
Or an owl.
bouncing through the air and bounding towards you.
Friendly.
Guys, it's me.
It all comes down, and it's Austin's voice. It's me, guys. Everything's gonna be okay.
Be not afraid.
Am I hallucinating?
Welcome to the Feymores, you
I'm
fucks.
like,
So yeah, you just gallop. You're trying to catch them.
Yeah.
You're trying to scoop them out of the brick. Or are you trying to get the brick too, or?
I just made that idea a lot harder.
He's trying to like basket us. in
Yeah.
antlers.
Sure, there's these bricks that are 2.5 feet away from Len's form.
and Bass.
Oh,
if
2.5
If
feet?
you let.
They're like
I
yeah.
thought it was much farther away. Oh, okay.
No, well, it's because they make like an 8 foot on each side, so they have to be like
Bass,
far
if
enough
you let
away
go
from
of
him
me,
where they
it'll
can,
probably be easier
like
for
maybe
you to
3
get
feet
scooped
because
up.
they have to do like,
I'm not letting go.
and then they have the thickness of themselves that create.
you
that are
could
also
survive.
part of the
So could you.
perimeter of them, like 7.
I think I might be.
Are they
pretty
solid?
done here.
I mean, they're brick.
Okay. They're not like an illusion.
They're just bricks.
Do you want to try to touch it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you hit it with your antler and get hit by a bunch of bricks.
I don't know, man.
You also know that like as soon as you stop jumping, you start falling. Like you have to keep jumping. You can't just stand on one of these platforms.
Okay.
So you're like, what you're doing is like as if you're jumping down a very steep incline. You're like,
Yeah.
like trying to just slow yourself down because they're free falling still.
Yeah. How do
And you guys are like, if this is the ground, you guys are doing.
I'm gonna reach my hand up and like pinch Bast's side like really hard and be like, let go.
Hold on to this. I'll hand you the spear gun,
I'll grab it.
and I'll jump off of him towards the elk.
Okay, this Bast is rocketing towards you.
I would like to scoop him up in my antlers and not impale him.
Okay, go ahead and roll dexterity checks, both of you.
I mean, if I get impaled, I get impaled.
Okay, that's better.
16.
21.
21. Okay, yeah. You're about to be like, oh, that's a lot of sharp edges, or not really sharp, but just that's a lot of pokey things I don't really want. But are you able to like put your head down and Bass kind of like gets thrown into the basket and you're there as you hold on to it. Bass is in your basket with a rope attached to him that is attached to the gun that is also attached to Len. You guys are all kind of tethered together. The one that's not physically tethered is you, but you have him in the basket and he's holding on. As you continue to you now are
Wait.
fully, your weight is fully on him.
Yeah, if I stop doing that,
You fall. You can't stand on the platform. You can
No,
only
no, no,
use them
but-
for like half a second.
oh, okay. Never mind.
It's only they're only like there to create leverage for you.
Okay. If I slow or let,
I see what you mean. You want to like
even out the angle of descent.
Scared.
sure. Your neck is gonna be put under the constraint of Len and a bunch of brick walls. Well, we'll see.
Can I like
Oh, man.
crawl down the antlers and like get onto his back?
Yeah, you can. I'd say that's easy enough because he lets you do it. You could be on his back. You're still
Slowly and
Consenting
like.
there's still like a
carefully.
lot of momentum and inertia going on here, so it's still like hard to do. You have to like really grab onto his fur and clench his back with and you're being ridden by Bast now.
Consensually.
Consensual. Do you want to try to like halt yourself and slow yourself down?
Yeah.
Okay, I would say that's fine. You can do that. I would say roll a strength saving throw because you have to stop the inertia of Bast falling and him falling because he's attached to him with the rope.
Yeah.
So, like,
to
your
be
neck
clear,
is like,
I'm not going from this to this. I'm going from this.
I understand.
To this to this. To
Yeah,
this
yeah.
to-
You're trying to give it a gradual thing so it's not
So
like
I don't snap
whiplash
my
and
neck.
snap your neck open. Yeah.
You said saving throw?
Yeah. Strength saving throw.
15.
15. That's good enough. I'd say you're able to kind of like. So this is what happens, guys. Theatrical narrative is you start to fall. There's a brick wall partially built around Len. Bast hops into the basket of your antlers, then crawls on top of you, grabs the scuff of your neck with all the fur on it as you start to like and try to.
Just like rope hanging off of me. That lands.
Yeah, there's a rope hanging on, and you feel the pressure on the back of your neck as you feel the G forces as you're trying to turn and curve. As Len, you feel the tug around your waist as you're like pulled as the rope becomes taut and it's connected, and you start to swing outward with your bricks. And right at the moment where you start to be like slow yourself down to like pretty darn slow, you're barely moving anymore. The bottoms of the bricks skid along one of the mushroom trees that are there, and it gets hit and it throws Len into a big old spin. He starts to spin really fast, which spins the rope. You start to spin back the other way, and you start to go down until you are low enough, because you're going to hit the ground first because you're dangling. You are low enough where the bricks collide with the ground. Not super hard, but just a lot of mass against a lot of mass. So they begin to crack and crumble as they scatter about. The bricks remain, and then you kind of like skid as though you're trying to stop yourself from a parachute, and you gallop and eventually touch the ground among all the shrubbery and the dell and the vega there, and you are all on the ground safely.
Well,
No big deal.
thank you, Mr. Elk. That's a very timely rescue. You all right over there,
I
Len?
need everyone to rewatch that and look at Alex's face when he does that.
Like eyes slightly askew.
So you guys saw this, whatever that nonsense was, touch the ground,
Oh, it's
but it's very far away. You guys are still up there.
Yes.
Pip's been carried off, and so we have the two of you up on a floating island, thousands of feet away from the rest of the party, and the party is now split, and that's where we're going to take a break. Cool. We'll be back in a little bit, guys. Stay tuned. Stay safe out there. Hello, all, and welcome back. Yeah, we're going to pause that. There we go. Welcome back, everybody. So you guys are split. The party is split right now. You guys are quite a ways away, a mile if not more away, on the base of the Vega, on the actual the ground of the Vega, near a very tall 60-foot mycelial tree-ish, like a big old giant mushroom tree. And
It's weird. It just looks like dollar signs to me.
and why? Because you're an elk?
Alchemist?
He's a dealer.
Oh,
Alchemist.
Jesus.
He's a dealer.
He's a dealer.
Dearler.
Oh, man.
You got that so fast.
Yes.
That was pretty good. Okay, so And while you guys are still up on the cliff's face, quite a base to conventionally get to each other is going to be a bit. And who knows what it is you may encounter on the way, as you would have to traverse quite a bit of open land. So, we're going to check in first with the ones that are far more injured over here.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm at full health.
your form, yes, that particular form is.
So am I.
Right, Len, how are you doing?
Shit.
Did you get healing from the unicorn blood?
And the pixie blood?
I know you got it from the pixie blood. Cause
And
you
your
got it from
blood.
the
No,
unicorn
he just
blood.
grew a unicorn.
Yeah,
horn.
He just grew a unicorn horn.
He just grew a horn. Which has been like acting like a wand to summon bricks. I cast summon brick.
I'll stand up and cast some cure wounds on myself.
Okay.
You hear like my bones like crunch as I get up. And then
You guys at the moment, as I had mentioned before, there's kind of this like weird orange light, and every once in a while you see kind of like a green, if I remember correctly, a aurora borealis kind of like shoot through the sky. You don't seem to see the actual source of this light. It just seems to fill the atmosphere with this kind of orangish, yellowish light with streaks of like almost like an alloy of green throughout. You don't see like an orb or a sun or anything. You can't see it. So as far as shadows, it's kind of weird. Sometimes you look and they're being casted in one direction. Sometimes you look and they're being casted in another direction. But more often than not, it's just kind of like a very tall ambient light that's mostly from overhead and can sometimes be. Seems like, from what you can tell in the moment, rather than it like moving around it as if it's a planet, almost as it's making an ellipse in the sky as a single plane. Does that make sense? Like rather than it going at the land that you are on being an orb, and it going around like this and there being a night-day cycle, it's almost as if it's staying up geosynchronous and just like going like this.
that makes sense.
You know?
It's weird, but it makes sense.
Harvest as much of this mushroom as we can, and let's get out of here.
No.
I mean, you're still an elk.
I can't, yeah. Who's pawing at the...
Hey, Len, I think we should try and meet back up with Taleo and Maeve.
I'm convinced it's Bast's dialect that keeps pronouncing his name wrong.
Taleo.
Like, head back over to the tether, right? See if we can meet them some way.
No, it's a terrible idea.
Terrible? It's terrible. What do you
We
think?
should. No, I agree. We should get
Okay.
walking as soon as we can. Ask for maybe mushrooms can wait when we're all in a better situation, when we're together, and when we're not dying and our bones cracking, and when we're not elk. Actually, I can't even. Actually, no, you're still an elk. I have no idea that you
Yeah.
want to collect the mushrooms.
Nope.
Wait, also, do y'all realize that it's Osper? I mean,
Nope.
No, we don't. We're like, what the fuck
just
is
an
that?
elk here.
I just gave him like some good side pats, and I was like, "Thanks, Mr. Elk." And
Just paw at
now
the
I'm talking to
mushroom.
Len.
So the ground that you're on is, like I said, there's a lot of like grasses, vegetation, and sedges. And for the term of like sedges, it's like a carpet of like long grasses that have kind of like bent over and become this like wispy carpet, or sometimes mosses and stuff. It's carpeted with these like earthen reds and blues and just a little bit of green every once in a while, but mostly earthen reds and blues. So like weird long, like almost like hair of like grass that kind of covers it, and it's also kind of peaty. So there's kind of sparse speckled spots of it, and sometimes it covers certain areas, and then there's those bone cactus tree bits that have those porous holes in them that kind of tower above with like massive air plants on the top of them, almost like palm trees, but thicker with holes inside, like you would see the trunk of a cactus after it's dead. What is it called? Cholla wood, kind of. Cholla wood, and then you every once in a while see those big, huge, like baobab, I can't remember, trees that are very sparsely in a low water area, or every couple acres there's one big one that kind of just spreads out. So the colors here are not like what you're used to. Granted, Basta means nothing to you.
Can you still sort of lead the way? Like, is this? land that you understand?
It would technically count as grasslands. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd give that to you.
I can do my best, but I can't promise you anything.
I mean, that's fair. You coming with us, Mr. Elk?
I will say that nearby you see one of those like earthen mounds that kind of goes up until it tapers to a point where it then becomes this oval ellipse style orb thing that has a bunch of holes in it that kind of looks like some sort of Santra for something, almost like kind of like a beehive but long and ellipse, like an oval sphere rather than like one of those, you know, rather than beehive shaped. And it doesn't have like the layers of those Pooh Bear honey jar things, but more of, again, like the porous holes similar to like the cholla wood trees.
I mean, I would say we avoid anything that looks like it's a creature's home.
So we avoid anything unless even if we know what something looks to be, we probably should avoid anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
First order of business, let's walk along this cliffside, make our way to wherever it hopefully maybe meets the ground, and maybe we'll see Tilio and Maeve.
Well, the tether goes off in that direction. I'm thinking if we go over there, they come down it, and we meet together.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things you do notice again is, I have to take this back a little bit, is that the orbs, the oval ellipse that are kind of on top of those earthen mounds, don't look like the cholla wood. They aren't porous like that. They're like the mesh that's made out of, when you look inside of like a bone and you see all that like weird trabeculi
like
mesh.
a
that's-
microscopic.
Yeah, and it's all like spread like webbing kind of, but it looks hard and like calcified. And
Yeah, we're gonna try to go far around that.
You do notice that those appear to be, now that you're much closer, those appear to be in centered in one of the more peaty areas of the landscape. You can see that there is some water that does come up from the ground that seems to surround those in kind of more or less like a circular-ish, just kind of like that. You see a couple shrubs and other types of peaty vegetation that pop up from it, that like grasslands and cattails and stuff like that, and those seem to be popping up in places where these like very, very small, like soggy, pondy kind of things where there's maybe like an inch of water there, and then something has been built up in the middle of it. So that's the closest water that you've been able to see. So you're kind of like getting this mix between like a marshy bog, like grassland, like prairie, high desert feel but also like tropic palm trees all kind of meshed into one. That's just kind of like slapdash, a bunch of microclimates just smashed together.
That doesn't make me comfortable.
Yeah, so avoid the hive things. Avoid like any dense foliage. I'm trying to stay in the direction of that tether.
Okay.
Yeah, I would think that.
With Mr. Favorite Terrain.
It would.
away.
That is going to be quite the maze. Just to let you know, you're going to have to take a very roundabout and very confusing way in order to try to get to where it is you're going, because there are quite a few of these hive-looking mound-like oval things. There are many, 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 many more of those than there are trees or big mushrooms or anything like that. There's a lot of those.
Yeah.
I would say like every 100 feet or so in any direction, there's one. They're everywhere. It still looks sparse because of how, and it's not that uniform, but there are a lot, especially in the current spot where you are, as you appear to be in a little bit more of a depression of the Vega than like some of the higher land masses. Yes.
Can I cast fly on myself?
How do you would like to try to cast fly on
Is
yourself?
it the same way?
You want to try to jump? You
Oh,
can.
yeah.
You can still do the jumping thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you can still do that.
Are you guys on my back or?
I would assume we're not. No.
Well, like when you got to the ground, I probably would have hopped off.
Okay, then you should get back on because let's fly above this nastiness.
And it's like, to give you again, like there's the amount of light isn't like daylight. It's more closer to between like
Dusk.
yeah, like twilight just maybe just the tiniest bit brighter, but more like twilight. So nothing is ever like super, super, super bright. It doesn't seem to be changing. It seems to be like consistently that way. So much so that if you do look up, there are some stars that you can barely make out in the sky.
Does he smell like Osfer?
That's a good point. Yeah, he does.
Okay. 20 on a perception.
Sure,
check,
yeah.
So,
Yeah, also, I mean, you guys are inexorably linked, so it's not like something you guys are part of the same pack, so.
Osfer, can you do that bouncy thing in the air again? He can probably carry us.
Please. I'm gonna walk over and just like climb onto your back. Like no questions asked.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'd say, yeah, the both of you could probably fit on the back of it. You'd have to squeeze a little bit, but yeah, you're pretty big. So you're a big creature right now.
Just get us as close to the tether point as you can, I guess. I don't know. How difficult is it to climb upwards, I guess? Because you can get us back up there, that'd be even better. But
I don't think I can go straight up that far.
You can't go straight up. Just imagine you'd be jumping on platforms.
Yeah,
You can
just
put
saying
the
that the
platform in any
spell only
orientation
lasts
you'd like.
climbing stairs.
So long.
Yeah, it'd be like jumping up like natural rock formation stairs. You know, you
Yeah,
could do
but
that.
like what I'm just saying is, I don't think that the spell will last long enough that jumping I can get us back up to the platform.
Just go as far as you can. And we'll see when you fail.
Well, then we're plummeting
Falling
back to our
again.
death.
Not like going like up, but just going like in the direction like.
Yeah,
where we
I'm
would-
thinking like 20 feet up,
That's all right.
and then horizontally towards the tether.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that works.
Okay, cool. So you just kind of gain a little bit of altitude and just begin to, yeah, kind of like a low gallop in the air. Sure. I would say if you want to be like a decent distance away from that, you might want to be a little higher than 20 feet because some of these are large enough where they stick up that far and more.
Okay.
So like more like 50 feet would be something where you'd be a little bit more out of reach. So yeah, you can do so. You start to gallop up, or where are you trying to head it to? The cliff side, the connection point of the tether to the floating landmass that you weren't on, or the connection point of the tether to the bottom of the Vega.
Ground.
That last
The
one.
bottom, like where we were going.
Okay, cool. So you kind of start to head in. If out towards the Vega from the landmass was north, because none of that means anything here, you start to head in more of like a southwestern direction.
Yeah, burp up some glitter occasionally.
You That's pretty good. Cool. You start to gallop as fast as you can. I don't think you're like not trying to make a whole lot of noise as you're just moving. You do see and hear, especially since you guys have such heightened hearing, that some of these things that you pass around appear to like buzz with activity as you pass over them, and like swarms of some types of creature just come out of these things, and like swarms of bees, and they like kind of go in your direction a little bit before they realize it's too much and they just kind of come back. There is at one point where you're, I don't know, maybe about a third the way there, as this is taking a bit, where it's weird. Actually, roll a perception check, all of you.
Does it rely on smelling?
This is sight.
Sight, okay. Then that would be one.
18.
22.
10.
10. Okay, so Elkfur and Bastion can see what looks like the land moving and walking, like just the land, like the dirt and grass walking and moving towards one of these hive things. And then as you get closer, you like blink and you get a better look at it, and it looks like just like good camouflage on some side of like almost clay colored with grass growing off of it, quadruped, but like torso up quadruped, like kind of like those aliens from Falling Skies where like their torso is straight up and they just have four legs that go foam, 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 that type of thing. Not like horse. Their torso is this, so they've got like humanoid up and then four legs come out for them, almost like droid-esque, like skittering, that type of way.
Arachne.
Like Darth Maul.
Yeah, kind of like that, but like 4 like pad, and it looks to be some sort of insectoid that's like very well camouflaged with the surrounding as it's starting to head back, and it looks like it's carrying something or a couple of things like latched onto itself. It looks like, I don't know, pollen or fungi or spores, just a bunch of stuff, and it spots you, and you can see it like it vibrates and shakes, and all of the foliage around it like changes color to like a warning red with like edges of very fluorescent blue as they like all the grasses start to come up and spike and like glow with this like bioluminescent light as it looks at you and makes this like high pitched like clacking of mandibles as about 10 of all the surrounding hives around you begin to release swarms of some sort of whatever these creatures. They kind of look like sturges in a way, like these tiny little weird insect demony things, but they're not bees. They're more mosquito-like. This thing seems to be communicating with them somehow. You also see it very, very quickly pulling like almost like some sort of mucosal mud out of its mouth and like creating like a mini arch of like mud and clay that it's like fusing and because you know how some like woodworker ants or woodworker bees and some other types of insects and even like antlions can make stuff, or there's the crabs that do this. They take and they cover it with suds. They take like the sand and they cover it with suds and they start to build things with them. It's like what it's doing. It's building a platform, like a ramp to you, very fast. As fast as it's moving, it's building something that it can like latch onto and like a rope. As it starts to get much, much, much closer to you, it's moving quite fast. You can try to outrun this. There's quite a few swarms. The thing is, like, in a radius now around what was going on around this. You are now in like the center of where it has alerted a bunch of things. So you'll have to pass through quite a few swarms as you're moving through this. What do you guys want to do?
I'm gonna pull out like 2 torches and light them.
Oh, okay.
And try to like scare them, like hope they're scared of fire. Like, if
okay,
anything
yeah.
starts approaching, just like hold it in the air.
Cool. You want to do the same thing?
I see him do it, and yeah, sure.
Okay, cool.
Wait.
Hand me some.
Elkford, what are you doing?
give you
I'm
2.
already moving as fast as I can.
Yeah,
right?
Ospa, just keep running.
One more thing.
Sure. Why didn't it do that?
I guess why not? I'll use my. I want to try to use my hunter sense on these like swarms of like insectoid sturge-like things,
Okay.
and I can peer and magically discern how to best hurt them. So I look at one of those creatures and I immediately learn if it has any damage immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities, and what they are. But if they're hidden from divination, then it doesn't work.
Okay. Yes, you
Like
recognize
what
that
hurts
these.
and what doesn't, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, you recognize that they would be sturdy and resistant to any type of non-magical essence or any type of non-magical attack or weaponry, but they are vulnerable to 2 things. One, and the only reason why you understand this is because you have experience with it and you have recognized what it is cold iron, and which they'd be very, very vulnerable to, and not necessarily fire. It's weird. It's more of. I think it's more of when acid turns into a vapor, and it becomes more like Greek fire and like a chemical like conflagration type of thing. So it's more of like acid. They don't really like acid. So yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
Armor of Agathis.
Okay, cool. So there's a bunch of swarms descend on you. You do pull out your torches.
Ascend on us.
What?
Ascend. We're higher than them, right?
Yeah. I mean, they can fly.
Yeah.
They all fly, and
You
they're
said descend on us.
turn of phrase, but yes, sure. So
Making sure I had the
Goodness.
geometry of this right in my head. It's like, how did they get above us?
Aspa, just keep running.
you guys are pretty much very like running through these to get a bunch of bugs on your teeth and that whole thing. As a couple of these kind of splat on you, as you do hold your torches out, quite a few of them are kept at bay. They're not super like inclined to just fly into fire. That's not something they want to do. So it is doing quite a bit to keep the vast majority of them away from you. However, you're moving so fast, some of them you're going to collide into. They don't seem to, because you're moving so fast and because you've got the flame out, they don't seem to be able to really get purchase on you to harm or mess you up in any other thing. But this other one, this some other like large worker insectoid thing, is building this bridge super fast, like very Bob the Builder, like pro Minecraft style, just doing that thing with the mouse where it goes like, and you can just put a bunch of squares down in rapid formation as you rub your finger across the mouse, kind of like that, as it's just very, very quickly, and it's moving about as fast as you can, but it's moving at an angle, so it's going to intercept you. But you have more or less, for all intents and purposes, not allowed these swarms to hinder your movement at all or harm you. You know that you have a couple seconds before this thing is going to like catch up to you, and who knows what this thing is going to do when it gets to you.
Eldritch Blast his bridge.
Okay, cool. Got it. You got it. Yeah, cool. He's like 3D printing this thing. With,
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But there's no support.
No, there's
It's
no
just
support.
hanging.
There's no support. It seems to be like that strong that it's even with its tensile strength, it's holding him, even though he's going in like an arc. But yeah, sure. You can go ahead and do that. Go ahead and roll an attack roll. Len, did you want to do something?
I was gonna reach down, use my last spell slot, put Longstrider on Osfer.
Put Longstrider on Elkfur. That's great. So you move that much faster, which is very fast for you because that gets another 10 feet. So you're moving 70 feet for your movement. Would let you move 140 feet per round. So you're just darting through this. A couple of these swarm insect like sturge mosquito things are splatting up against your net of antlers. A couple of them hit your forehead, splat against. There's this weird ichor that comes from that kind of gets stuck in your teeth and on your clothes, and it's nasty. You move very, very fast. It is now keeping pace with you, but yeah, go ahead and what did you get for your Eldritch Blast? Your roll.
14.
14. Yeah, you can hit the arc with that.
Second one was a dirty 20.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
9 plus 8 is 17 total force damage.
17. Yeah, you can knock this thing down. The bridge starts to fall, and it falls down to the ground. It kind of falls on its back, and it immediately pulls itself up and begins building the bridge again. But if you keep moving this speed, it will not be able to catch up with you. It will only be able to keep pace with you.
It was keeping pace before, so now we should.
It was keeping pace because it was coming at an angle. Now it's behind you. You're moving too fast. It can't catch up with you. There's no way. There's at some point it's going to give up because it cannot keep this up for what it's doing. And it's now, because it fell, is like another 60 feet or more behind you. There's no way it can catch up with you. It looks quite determined. It does follow you for like another 30 seconds to like a minute before it just seems to run out of energy or lose interest. And you get out of that kind of cloud of swarm that it kind of summoned. And you continue on.
On our majestical journey.
Yeah. Weird thing seems to have some sort of call that could gather a bunch of help from other insectoid things around it. Very chitinous. Didn't have any like humanoid features almost at all. So far they're transformed into the insectoid that it doesn't look like anything you've ever seen before. You guys, back on the cliffside.
Oh, yes. So how far are we from the tether at the top?
I believe we talked about.
Is it like attached up the cliffside, or is it like down a ways.
So as I mentioned before, it's like the landmass is kind of slanted. It goes up on a slope this way and down slope this way. And on where that down slope kind of hits the bend is where that tether is attached. Like a balloon that's flat on the top that's only held down by one string to the ground.
I'm
So
just
it's like this.
wondering at what point on the thing the tether is attached. If it's like
It's attached to the cliff side.
Okay.
Like the top of the landmass, yes.
Awesome.
It's not attached down towards like the cliff or the underside of it. It is attached there. And it looks like it's like roots that have rooted itself into the side of it. It is about, if I think I
So
remember
it's like attached to
before,
one of the corners of the D4. And
it's very, very far down that slope. I think I talked about like a half a mile or something like that down there. It's very, very, very far
Oh, so
down
we'll
there.
have to climb down.
You can walk along the space between, you can walk
trees
along
and
the
the
space between the tree line and the cliffside, which is about 10 feet the entire way. It's a straight shot right to the tether.
Oh, okay.
It curves a little bit because the landmass curves and you can just see it around the bend. That's a very, very slight bend, but you can get right there if you just stay there. Granted, if anything were to happen, anything comes out of the woods and jumps at you, you could get knocked off. Like it's a precarious place to be, but it's gives you the best vantage as to what's ahead.
Okay.
well,
Did you have one of those party tricks? You had said about party tricks a while ago.
oh no, I mean right now I'm all tentacles and suction cups.
That has since now faded.
Oh really?
Yeah,
We've
it
been
only
here that
lasts for a
long?
minute.
No, I thought it was 10 minutes.
His is 10 minutes. yours
Oh,
is-
because
yeah.
it's the thing. Okay. Oh, cool.
Can you send out a flare? See if they respond.
I can make my arrows burst, but that's only if they hit something.
Okay, so no. Fair
No.
enough.
I think our best case right now is to hope that that any of them made it. And our destination was trying to get down this tether, right?
Yeah. It was down the tether. I don't think we can count that they'll make it, but we still need to get down there to summon Cavendish.
Yes.
So,
It is very. You can see them moving. Like they're above the ground, creating things. It's not hard to see them.
Well, okay, but like from our point of view,
Sure.
the tether is like straight down from us, and if they're heading towards there, that's
So they're
out of our line of sight.
right. Okay, I need to describe this a little better. So you are on a cliffside that is here, and you're looking out. Okay, and they've been all the way out there and down, all the way down, so you can see them there, and they're moving towards the tether in that direction over there because you have to go that way too. And so at some point you lose visualization for them because they're gonna be blocked by the cliffside as they kind of pass under the landmass in order to get to the tether.
okay.
But at the moment they're not quite there yet. You can still see them. They're not moving like a parallel. They were out, way out, and they're going at a diagonal towards the tether. Does that make sense?
Okay. Also, the Maeve is not looking over the edge. Like,
So, they're still alive. Turns out. I can see, it looks like there's like an
At
elk
least two of them.
jumping around.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
from this distance, you can probably just see that there's like a large elk.
There's just an elk, but I'm assuming that's us. There's no...
Yeah.
It's going towards the tether.
Okay. I mean, that's what I want to do too. So.
Cover me for 10 minutes, and I'll get us a ride.
Could be another Fey god that just wants to fuck you up. You're just putting yourself on a silver platter.
I mean,
Nothing else for it.
protect you in what way?
If one of those bug things comes back,
Oh yeah.
let me know, and then we're gonna turn invisible and get out of here.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, onwards towards the.
Nope.
No.
I have to stay here for 10 minutes.
Your microphone is in front of you, not next
Thank
to
you.
you.
Oh.
I have to stay here for 10 minutes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I'll get us a ride.
A ride. Oh.
Yes.
Oh. Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
There you got
That
it.
sounds great.
Uh-huh. Perfect.
Sorry, it took me a moment.
Okay. I've become visible. Hi. Okay.
Cool. So you guys just begin your trek downward.
Well, no.
No.
Or are you gonna do the
I'm-
thing? You're gonna summon the.
Summoning. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
summoning.
Okay. How? It's a large creature.
Yes, it is a
Okay,
lion.
so it's just going to barely fit on this cliffside. So this is a tight squeeze for it. But yeah, you can summon it here.
Absolutely.
Your tiger with flame feet. It always reminds me of Inuyasha, that one little cat that became the big cat that the girl with the fan rode. Can't remember if her brother was the kunai dude.
Been a while since I've seen it.
There was
Yeah.
a World of Warcraft mount that I'm pretty sure was
Was like
That's
that
what I'm
too.
thinking.
Yeah, the night elf.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like a snow leopard something that had blue flame feet or something. Anyway, you summon. What's the name of your mount?
That is a very good question. I had thought of it and hadn't
What do you
got-
call?
Sable.
Sable. You call Sable as it kind of just comes out of the tree line and skids to a stop, and then it's like
Sorry,
ankles
Sable.
alight.
Sorry about that last one. Look, there'll be kitty treats later. I promise. I promise. We'll get some really good ones, but not right now. Right now we're in danger. You have to help us get out. Okay? Can you do that? Just kind of like pet behind her ears. Yeah, that's a good kitty. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna go down that tether there. Me, you, and her. Can you do
Hi.
that? This is Maeve. Maeve, say hi to Sable.
Hi, Sable.
Roll an animal handling check.
Oh, kitty. Oh. The worst. 11. You know, that's fair. That's fair.
It's probably
So-
because your clothes are all torn up.
Tastefully. They cover the
So-
things that they're supposed to cover. Mostly.
This cat has standards.
Yeah, unfortunately for you right now. So, it's okay, Sable. It's okay.
Okay, cool. You
Ready?
guys hop on and start to pounce and gallop down. They're quite dexterous, so it's okay. Shouldn't be too much of an issue, but they're still skirting the edge quite a bit. You guys move. Does it say how much you're?
I believe it was,
It's like
draft force was 40, lion was 50.
Okay, so 50.
I'll
is
double
fine.
check that. I don't have,
Yeah,
I can't check it now.
I'll make a stat block for them eventually. When I have the time. So yeah, you guys, you move pretty fast. You move faster than you would be able to because they move about 100 feet around, so you can move. As you start to decrease in altitude and head down this way. For the sake of time, you guys can meet at the bottom of the tether. With how fast you guys are moving and how high up you are in the moment, you should be okay. You have a couple more run-ins with some other bug things and some other minor spore things. Every once in a while, like a mushroom tries to puff things at you, or one of the flora that looks innocuous kind of like throws some sort of spiked pollen tongue at you before it comes back. Just the nature itself is very active in this space and is part of, rather than being more of a passive detriment to travel, it is full of a bunch of things that wants to kill you, or that wants to eat, or wants to protect what is theirs. You're able to make it to the bottom of the tether with little to no issues, other than some, minor inconveniences because of the measures that you have taken. However, you guys have to figure out, once you get to, as you're traveling along down, and it's quite, a ways, every once in a while, from the tree line, there will be just a branch that just comes out like super fast, to clothesline you. So I want you to roll dexterity saving throws for me real quick.
Fuck. 12.
9.
Or,
9.
I'm sorry, 11. No, 14. I lied again.
14. So you're able to duck as Sable ducks, and maybe you're like, what? And you get knocked off as you kind of roll back. You're going to have to do me a favor. Roll another dexterity saving throw to see if you fall off of the cliff.
15.
15. No, you don't. So you keep yourself stable, so you don't. But you do kind of like backwards somersault as you fall off a stable. You do hear coming from inside of the wood.
Oh, my neck.
Hurry up, come on. We don't have time for that. Come on. Come on.
Okay, fine.
Oh,
Ow.
right. By the way, you take 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh, that's fine.
Like hit you right below the chin and like in your throat as it kind of pulled you off.
And get low next time.
Yes, deal. I don't. Ow.
You hop back on. This happens like another 2 times, but you guys like are able to duck down. Every single time it's like you hear it coming from the woods.
I hate being laughed at.
So you eventually reach where the tether now attaches to the landmass. There is the tree line is now much farther back in this area, as a bunch of roots you can see coming, breaking the surface of the ground and going in and tying themselves in knots and moving through as it just is grown into the side of this landmass quite a bit. It's fully grown itself into the side of this cliffside and this dirt. So there's a lot of knots. It's very uneven ground. It's almost all made out of this some sort of like woodish, fibrous material. The bridge itself, or the tether itself, is far more precarious than the strait that you were recently traveling. It is wider, I would say, but it's it's at an angle, meaning that imagine like a braid of hair is kind of flat on one side, and it's more like round and bulbous on the others. It's kind of like that. It's braided, and roots have just kind of braided themselves together up there, but have been more, I don't want to say uniform. It doesn't look, it's wild, but it also looks like there was some artistry to it. Like it had programmed itself into a way of how it was going to intricate itself. And so there's not really a flat space because it's kind of at an angle for you to actually get purchase to go down this thing, meaning traversing it's going to be difficult. There would be room to go along like the edge that's kind of at an angle, but it's not enough to be 10 feet wide. So it would be very difficult for Sable to do so because it's just so cattywampus. And even you guys, it's going to be like kind of like walking a very, very broad tightrope that's just also not broad at the same time. It's in such an awkward angle and position.
I'm picturing like one of those really big tree logs that would go like across like a river. And you're like,
Yeah, kinda
I
like
can
that.
kinda go across that, but if you've been on those for like more than 10 feet, you're like, that can be done now.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's not great. It's akin to the feeling of walking across a suspension on a suspension bridge, like a suspension
Okay.
cable.
What do you think, Sable? Can you do it? What if your claws are out? Do you think? Do you want to give it a try? If you give it a try, it doesn't work, I will put you away and make sure you don't fall. No? No? Okay. Okay.
So they like start to like grab at it and like lean out.
No, it's not going to work. Don't. You're such a good girl, Sable. Yeah, have a little kitty treat. I just remembered I had one more in my pack. Feed her a little. Okay. Okay. I'll call you again when I need you. Disappears into a puff.
Cool. So how are you getting down this thing?
So,
It'd be really cool if you had suction cups.
yes. Yes. Or if we ever did figure out what power you got from it.
I don't know. I think it turned me into a cat.
Fantastic.
Yes, but as far as I know, he was invisible. Like,
No, I know. It's
Yeah.
it's just funny
Talio
that it's like, wow, I wonder how that works. And Bass is like,
Oh no,
smelling
Talio ate it.
no.
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 No, Talio threw it off of
No,
the-
That's
why
she
you have
told
it.
you that she ate, or they
Yes,
ate
that's-
it.
Yeah,
That's
you
why-
think
Yes.
they, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's gone.
No, that's why I was like, well, it's a shame we don't know what power you got from
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
Yeah, because they were
There's-
invisible the whole
and there's,
time.
there's
Anyway.
no like damage to my clothes or anything, right? Like
No.
nothing changed. I don't know.
I mean,
I think maybe I got good at music. 'Cause nothing changed.
your clothes are no less, no less or more tacky than usual.
You know, speaking of, would you like to borrow the code?
No.
Okay. Well, we should probably
I wouldn't
get
be
going,
caught.
right?
Yeah, anyway.
You might be.
Fair. Okay, so are we just gonna try to... How wide are each of, like, the strands of this tether? Like...
So it is a massive collection of mass.
Oh,
of a
okay, so
bunch
it's not
of
just,
them.
like, 3...
It's not. Yeah, no, it's not just 3 timbers that are woven themselves
Okay,
together.
it's-
It's like sometimes they separate and sometimes they rejoin. It's this
Got it.
whole thing, but it looks very like beautiful and intricate. Some of those. There's an art of growing plants where like you put them in a bracket and actually like the tree will grow a
Trellises.
chair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's kind of like that. Like it knew to make something intricate.
Okay.
Do
Do you have
you
a piece of
have-
rope?
It's kind of reminiscent of of elven kind of filigree.
Yeah, I do. I do actually have some rope.
Ooh. Perfect.
Yeah, here. What do you propose?
We tie
Quick question.
ourselves
Was the
together, kind of, with a little bit of a
sword
lead,
that
and
I
if one
could
of us
attack was
slips off, the
magical?
other one jumps off the other direction.
It was a gold scimitar.
I like this plan.
mean- Oh, I
then we
understand.
high five underneath.
No, I don't think it was.
Okay.
So, yeah,
correct
so
these
you have
numbers.
more help
Yep.
than you thought. Yeah.
Hi.
You don't know what a high five is, do you?
I always
No.
forget that.
Okay.
I
okay.
forgot.
It sounds
So
vulgar.
you look at my elbow, and you slap my hand.
I mean, I want to slap you, but
This is your one chance.
what do I gain from this?
A sticking hand.
Next time, claws in.
Sorry.
Okay, so
Anyway,
while that's
we're,
happening,
we tie a rope between both of us, and our plan is to, as we're walking, if one falls off, the other falls off the other way.
I understand.
Yes,
Yeah.
works that way.
Can
Anyway,
For me, please. Thank you. What are you guys doing?
We're just
Making
going.
idea, I'm
You just
We're-
going?
Yeah.
Nothing special or anything?
I'm so fucking
Cheers.
tired.
I mean, if we get to the bottom, like, could we see up them coming down?
Roll a perception check. Just because they're a lot smaller than you at the current moment, and looking up at. Yeah, thank you.
14.
Thank you. Yeah, you see something moving along that tether. Something, what looks to be upright.
Yeah. So I mean, if we get to the bottom and we can see them,
Yeah.
do we just wait for them to come down, or do we go up and meet them? I'm assuming you're back in Asfa form.
Yeah. am
I would
still in
say, just a couple 100 feet before you reach the bottom of the tether, you turn back into Osfer. There's a moment where you're like, uh-oh, wait, and you like descend
both-
really, really quick, and then you all kind of
Someone may
tumble.
arrive. Yeah, I say we wait.
There's like one little antler still left before you go like, and then it just pops off.
Are there any?
Oscar, I'm so tired. You're strong enough to give me a piggyback
I am definitely strong.
The bottom of this tether, is it just the same as like the top? It's just a bunch of roots sort of grown?
No.
No.
There, what appears to be a massive bulb at the bottom of this tether, that appears to be like wrapped up in very large leaf-like organic structures, and then it's almost like a bloom. You know, if you ever played like Breath of the Wild, it kind of looks like those great fairy fountains, where like it has like they're just these huge, like big old bulbs that are wrapped up, and it looks like the roots seem to be coming from whatever that thing is. This appears to be like the heart of this thing. It is huge. It is technically a Titanic-sized something. It looks to be like, what is it, like 5 or 6 squares by 5 or 6 squares, something like that. Like looks to take up like about a 40-foot square or more.
Well,
Huge.
if we're gonna wait for them to come down, we've got a little time on our hands. Are there any mushrooms? Anywhere?
Yeah, there's some mushrooms around. Why don't you go ahead and roll a survival check for me? I would say the nearest large mushroom tree is a bit of a ways off, and there's a couple hives
Between
between you and them.
10.
10.
Oh, the hives between us and them? No, fuck that.
That would be one of the very, very large ones. If you're looking for smaller mushrooms, there are some about. The mushrooms appear to, in their most quantity, appear closer to where those hives are, kind of along the edge of where the peat starts to become more watery, and
If it's within 100 foot of those hives, I'm not going to bother.
there's none that's more than 100 foot of those hives. Often the hives are no more than 100 feet between each other, so there's not really a spot where those things, like, you're in a space right now where you found it to be a little bit more sparse, but they're everywhere. You are now on the ground, and there's still quite a few hives between you and this thing, but you do notice that the closer you get to that giant bulb, and the reason why you can see it so far off is because it's so big, because you're still several hundred feet away, but the closer you get to that, far less hives.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought we were chilling out by the base of this thing. Then never mind. Let's go to the
Finish getting to it.
bulb.
Yeah, you see that the ground becomes far more vegetative and less peaty as you get closer to the bulb, and you start to see very large roots that just kind of like come out at like big arches that just burst out of the ground and then go back in, as if it's just grabbing onto the ground for dear life, and it's just putting massive roots. We're talking about roots that are 12 foot in diameter that just crash into the ground before, and it's almost like a bramble, but that's very, very thin. We're talking about thick bramble, of just because of how thick each of those branches and roots are, in order to get to that bulb. So there's like is almost like a maze that you'd have to get through in order to climb up above and go down through in order to even get to the bottom of that thing. And as soon as that starts, as it kind of like slowly, gradually becomes, there's no more literally anything else. It appears to be sucking all of the nutrients from this area to allow nothing else to grow. No hives, no grass, no nothing.
In Elvish, don't really want to trespass here, so are we approaching anybody's home?
Okay, as you speak that out to, I assume you guys are like now at, like, you want to be at the edge of where that starts.
Sort of where the big roots start to.
Sure. Roll just a roll a persuasion check to the nature.
I'll mumble what he says again in Sylvan.
Okay. As you're like, I'm just translating for him.
These bitches don't speak Elven.
That is the first charisma-based check you have asked me to make.
As Bastion?
As Bastion.
In the whole campaign?
The whole campaign.
That can't be true.
Yes, it is.
That checks out.
That can't be
It
true.
is.
What'd you get?
25.
25. Well, there you go. You see... I don't want to say, actually, you don't see. Something about the ground that you're standing on becomes less firm.
Okay.
Like, it felt a lot solid, and you feel like it's just become more cushiony. Like, it's just become like something you know when some hydrophobic soil becomes like really dense and compact? It's almost like it's not like that more. It's far more relaxed. And there's room for like roots to move through it now, you know. But that's all you can sense.
Okay.
You just because you did good on your
Yeah.
charisma, it doesn't mean you would know if anything actually
I
happened.
don't
or
talk
not.
plant, so
Yeah.
I hope that was an inviting gesture. It felt non-threatening, so I'm gonna hope that you allow us to go meet our friends who are coming down this way.
Len, can you roll a persuasion check for me too, since you were translating into Sylvan?
Ooh, it's a 4.
Okay.
Please don't kill us. Please.
So what are you guys doing?
I don't know, wait for the others. Like, I'll try to do as little as possible. Or wait for everyone to.
I mean, do we go in there and we meet them at the big plant thing, or do we just wait till they get all the way out here?
Maybe we just wait, take a short rest.
It might be best to meet them there because what if they're put in danger and then we're not there while they're coming through?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And if we go in and are put in danger, then I guess they'll show up soon after. I say we go in.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
You guys venture forth into the massive tangle of all these roots. Now, I want to make it very clear that there are still quite a bit of spots to just walk. It's fine. It's just that you absolutely can tell by how much of the roots you see above ground. There's a root that's, again, 12 foot in diameter that just goes up and creates an arc that maybe is like 40 foot long and 15 foot high, and then just dives back into the ground. And that happens every so often. And then there's smaller ones that do that. So it does make the ground kind of knotty, but there are other spots that are like that. You also do notice that the ground here is, again, not as peaty, so it's a little bit more firm and a little bit drier, but not deserty. There does seem to be, as you do have footfalls through here, it's almost like the roots flinch a little bit. They don't move out of the way. And you're also not trying to like just step right on them, I assume, or like, bang into them and like climb on them and everything. They don't move out of the way. They're just like, oh, there's something there. It's like you can absolutely tell that whatever that thing, that big bulb is, and whatever this root system is, absolutely knows you're here. It can absolutely tell you that you're here. Doesn't seem to be doing anything about it right now. But like every once in a while, you just see like a root at the corner of your eye just kind of twitch just from your presence, like a spider's web might just react to that type of thing.
Yeah, I'll tell the others, try as hard as you can not to touch these roots, and I'll murmur in Sylvan things like, we mean no harm, we're just waiting for friends, like that kind of thing.
Cool. I'll just carry your same persuasion check over to that one too.
I don't like this guy.
Okay, cool. So you guys continue to do that. It's far more slow going now because you're trying to avoid contact with this too much. You're trying to do your best not to disturb this the natural order of whatever this thing is. So you guys are moving again, also quite slowly down this tether.
Yes.
I want you to do me a favor. Both of you just rolled standard dexterity checks for me to see how well you are at trapezing yourself down here. And
21.
Cool. And it's like I said, it's a big fucking tether. It's just that the only spot that has like a curve enough that you actually have to be able to walk on is small because it's just so weird and awkward. Like, if you got on all fours and like were climbing, it would be maybe easier, but that depends on how good you are at climbing. So, what'd you get?
19.
19. Okay.
Well, what's your dex? Oh, okay. I see.
What'd you get?
Oh, 21.
21. Okay, yeah. So you guys figured out, Talio, you get on all fours and realize, like, okay, it's time to pull out the claws and just start to, like,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
do that type of thing. What do you do, Maeve, to make this easier?
I mean, we have a rope tied between us
Right.
in case we fall.
You know, if you get on all fours, it's easier. But you don't have claws.
I don't have
That's
claws.
undignified.
No, I don't have claws. I do take off my shoes. Because,
Barefoot walk.
yeah, barefoot. A little better traction.
That's a good idea. I think I'm gonna do that too.
Yeah. And we just go safely and as, quickly as we can while still being, like, not like full speed, I guess. Like, carefully traversing our way down this long tether.
Okay.
I don't know how to better describe that.
Sure. Yeah, you're just cautious and
Would Maeve have climbed trees as a child? Or is that way too dirty of an activity?
I will say that because the growth, like the fleshy growths that happened on you from those suction cups, bursted through your shoes and created seams and runs in your stockings, that you are basically barefoot right now. So you can like use your toes to kind of grab on to a couple things. It does feel weird to feel nature and earth underneath your very fresh and uncalloused feet.
I mean, I've been wearing these same shoes for months.
But it does give you a little bit more, like kind of a monkey feet thing, so you can still curl your toes around the edges to give yourself a little bit more stability.
I don't hate the feeling.
Progress.
Does it feel any weird sticking my little claws into it?
Does it feel weird?
Yeah. Like, how's it feel?
Well, the way that claws work, though, is like they're good for climbing up things. Going down, they like.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's like anything like oozing out whenever I stub this.
I imagine that they kind of go on the side and
Oh.
do this type of thing, just because otherwise this would be really weird going down like that. You also have a lot more surface area to grab onto if you go along like that angled side. And then that way you're on the other side, so if either
Yes.
you should fall, you will fall to opposite sides, if that makes sense. So, yes, it does. You feel... It doesn't feel... It feels fresh. Usually something that would be this strong and sturdy would be far more hard, like bark on the outside, because it has been exposed to the elements where it's had to create like an outer shell, and like a tree would, or something like that, and is kind of like been like that. But it feels more like green and fresh and
Interesting.
supple.
Yeah, this
It's very soft.
I wouldn't say like soft, but
Like
when you stick your claws into it, yes, it goes in a lot easier than you thought it would.
I thought it would. It's kind of easy. It's fleshy.
Mm.
Putting my claws in this.
Oh.
I mean, it's really nice, honestly, but not what I was expecting. I thought it'd be harder, like more purchase.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be roots, or still growing.
I mean, aren't roots also still pretty hard usually? Like, this is just.
Yeah. Things to keep in mind.
Wait, maybe this is like a young, whatever this thing is.
That's kind of terrifying. This
Isn't
doesn't
it?
seem that young.
Yeah, I mean, almost as terrifying as all of our friends falling to their death.
Death.
I knew them like a day.
Oh, fair.
How long did you know them?
Quite a while. Quite a while. Yeah.
You're like 500, aren't you?
Well, I mean, not a year, but longer than I've known most people.
It's been a couple of months.
Longer than
was
I
like
have
2
kept
weeks.
the acquaintance of many. Let's go
Has it?
that far.
It's been like 2 weeks.
Yeah, the 11th of Hylock was when we started.
Oh, really?
Today's the 33rd?
Oh my
32nd.
God.
Yeah, it's been like
If
2 weeks.
time
now.
So it's been 20 days.
Oh my god.
It's been 20 days, you guys.
Almost 3 weeks.
You guys trust each other with your lives.
You know what? I stand by the
It's
statement.
been a long 3 weeks.
Yes, it has.
I stand by the statement. I've known them longer than most people I've kept in my life.
That is probably accurate.
Yeah. You don't strike me as a loner, though.
No, not lately. I mean, I did go for a while without.
Now that Mae was talking to Leo's not going to talk the entire rest of the way down.
Soon enough, you guys are reached to a point where you can far more clearly see this massive bulb at the bottom, the base of this tether, because as it kind of like turns a little bit, and you can see, because you couldn't see when you were on the cliffside because it was still weird angle, but now that you're on this thing and you can see, and you start to move down, you can see this massive bulb. It does, the protrusion of this tether seems to be originating from the bulb. It is huge. It is huge, 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 huge. It also, you see that quite a bit of like some leaves and massive, like giant elephant leaves style, like huge, 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 but much, much larger, create a splaying out that it would be impossible to really touch the ground unless you dropped from the tether at some point without walking among those giant leaves in order to get to the ground. It's like it goes right to the base of that bulb. At this point, you are also able to see movement throughout the rooted, kind of almost like a wood forest tangle that you can see some of your friends moving throughout. You can now see them in like somewhat detailed, the movement every once in a while as they come up and move around, and your vision of them, you can see them.
Oh. I think I see the other 4.
4? Oh. Do you see 4?
Well, no, I saw movement. I'm assuming. They're there.
I hope so.
I mean, I think I saw Lynn. Definitely saw Lynn.
Okay. Where are they? How far out from this like bulbous thing?
Well, how far are they?
I would say maybe a couple 100 feet, if that. You can see them You can see them decently clearly,
Couple 100 feet
enough to
now.
know that it's them.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
We're almost there. Do we... Okay, question. Do we just keep going, or do we risk getting their attention?
Risk. Just yell at them.
No! No, I say loudly.
No. It echoes
do
off
hear
the
that.
mountains. Yeah, absolutely. you
That
do.
definitely sounded like Maeve. Look up the vine.
I'll look up and I'll just wait for them to see me. I don't feel like straining my vocal cord.
Just look, it's like that the introvert just stares at you until you see them,
Yeah.
and then they nod at you, being like,
Then I
"Oh, hey,
wave,
yeah."
yeah.
You just stand in the corner of the party and stare at the one person you know at the party until they recognize you.
Oh my
That's
god.
it. No, that's accurate.
That's-
That makes sense.
Oh my god. Yes, after all of this is done, we're at like a big fancy ball. Lynn is just like staring Maeve down the whole time, just like,
You're talking to like 5 people. Can we go home yet?
Hey,
anyway.
hey, Maeve. You got that like plant magic, yeah?
A little bit.
Can you like? We're trying to make friends with this thing. Can you like give it a little? I don't know. Happy juice.
We're walking. Can you give us a minute?
I don't know how your thing works, but like, can you give it a little
I'll be there in a few minutes.
good vibes? No, I mean you're walking on it, so I mean,
I just continue walking towards them. We'll do it when we get there.
So at some point you are gonna reach the base of this bulb.
Yes.
Is your intent to just walk into the bulb, or like walk amongst the large leaves that are coming from the bulb, or are you trying to like drop down, or are you trying to jump? Like, what are you trying to do?
What do
I
you
mean,
mean by
isn't it
making
like-
friends?
Isn't it like this
It
shape?
is
or-
fat.
like bigger, but like this basically, and
I'm
the tether's
picturing
going
like a
this way.
cauliflower. It's
Uh,
like a very
it
little
is.
part.
It is.
chunker.
It is almost straight up, but only slightly at an angle.
Okay.
Yeah, like that, and it is fat.
Okay. So we're coming down this
And
thing.
but it does
and
go
we're
up
gonna-
into like a teardrop kind of shape. Yeah.
Okay.
So, what do you mean make friends with it? Is it
Kind of,
alive?
Like, splays out and plays at the top.
I mean,
Can we have met up with them?
I'll walk over to the
Yeah.
side and just.
What is blocking you from meeting up is this massive
Oh,
bulb.
okay,
That's what
I
I'm
see.
trying to say.
Yeah.
It's
I
like,
see.
yeah, unless you want to drop down from the thing before you get to it and then try to make your way through the roots, the bulb is blocking your path.
yeah. I mean, I would advise you not to touch the bulb because the last plants we encountered wanted to eat us. So
I would go around the side and hold my arms out and call you.
maybe
both.
like when you get to the edge of where the leaves are, like tie that rope off and maybe drop down.
Oh,
I
you
can
know?
catch both of you if you want to drop down also.
The leaves do create, do reach out another about 70 or 80 feet. These leaves are like almost 100 feet long. They are massive.
Oh.
How high up are
So
they?
this is what I'm trying to say, guys. This thing is huge.
Okay. See that's.
This thing is absolutely titanic. It is massive. It looks to be around maybe 120 to 160 feet tall. It is huge, super fat. For you to drop down without touching any of the leaves, you'd be dropping maybe about 60 feet or more.
You can survive that. That's fine.
Okay.
That's actually not bad.
Do we jump and do we try
I mean,
and
after
jump to
all of
one
that, someone's
the
got to
leaves?
take falling damage, right?
I mean, you'll probably land on your feet, right?
No, this is an easier way of doing this. How much rope do we have? We don't have terribly much slack. Do you have extra rope? We might be able to do this smart.
No, mine's gone.
I do.
Can you toss it up here? You have enough to toss up.
I don't know. If I, could
I
toss
don't
it
think you
60
could
feet
toss
up.
rope over 100 feet to somebody.
No, I can tie it to a harpoon bolt though, and I can shoot
could.
it up to them.
You could, but you'd have to hope that they were able to catch it because the rope's not long enough to be between you and them.
Oh, otherwise it would just like streamer over.
Yeah.
like-
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Think you can catch it?
No.
It's like catching an arrow in the air.
Yes, I think I can.
Wait,
I can absolutely catch it. In fact,
Yeah, we need Oscar up there.
Wait.
Not,
Oh.
guys,
yes,
it's not
I've
rocket
got something.
science.
Okay.
I forgot I had this. It was supposed to be part of my one-man band play, and I never actually did that.
I hear them say that, so I tie the rope off to a bolt and
And I cast Mage Hand and grab it.
No.
That's not how Mage Hand works. that is absolutely not how Mage Hand works.
I mean, it kind of is.
Not for catching bolts. Oh my, that's a monk thing. Come
No,
on, my
catching
dude.
the rope. You've got like a 50-foot streamer essentially.
You
All
have
you have to
10
do-
pounds of force, okay? Before brawl. You guys are really stretching it here. Okay, go ahead and roll an Arcana
Is there
check.
Wait.
is there any way I can just fucking spider climb up there and just pick them up and just walk back
So,
down?
again, like I said, in order to get to a point
Ball.
where the tether is close enough to the ground where you would be able to jump and reach it, you're going to be walking on the leaves. It is, or the bulb itself. It is huge, guys.
I'm so scared
I would say
of this
like
thing. I don't want to touch it.
I'm trying to give you an idea. Is like the area of like the diameter. No, the radius of where the leaves and the bulb is, like the center of this plant, would be about like 150 feet radius. This thing is huge. It would take up like the majority of the map. Imagine if it was like 6 times the size of this on the map. It is huge, and it is over 100. It is like about maybe 80 to over 100 feet tall. It's somewhere. It depends on like where you're looking at it. It's at an angle. It'd be like this tall and this wide. It is huge. You are but ants to this thing.
Okay, maybe there was something to maybe talking to it.
You do that. Fast. That was amazing. Can you do that? But and I dropped the Mage Hand like as you said it was
Roll
about
your,
60
I said
feet?
roll your Arcana check.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to see because it got shot, and you cast Mage Hand to try to grab it, and you're trying to use the
It's
spell.
very
I'll let the
high.
dice decide.
22.
22. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Okay, so you grab the rope with Mage Hand. So you cast Mage Hand, and you try to catch
That's teamwork, man.
the harpoon, and it's like the Mage Hand just lazily grabs at things because it's not a fast spell. So it grabs it, and then it realizes it, and you're like, oh no, it's gonna miss it. It tries to grab it again, and it grabs like just before the edge of the rope happens, and then it kind of gets tugged to the very edge of your spell, and you feel like you're gonna lose it because it only has 10 pounds of force before you like it's slowed down enough where the harpoon's now just dangling, and you have it. It's about 30 feet out, just hanging over empty air.
Bring the Mage Hand.
Mage Hand
back,
comes back.
and I grab the. It's holding the rope. I grab the rope from
If
it.
you try to use Mage Hand in battle for like this, I'm going to say no.
No.
Like you cannot do what he can do about deflecting missiles with Mage Hand. That was no, absolutely not.
I wasn't anticipating
Okay,
you to
good.
even let me do this much. I take the rope,
Okay.
pull up the harpoon, undo it from the harpoon, and now we have another. It was like what, 30 feet?
50 feet.
50.
50?
And the rope was 50 feet. You're right.
I think
50
so.
feet?
Yeah, so I
Okay,
got
so-
one,
So you guys have 100 feet of rope
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
We can get so close enough to the ground with this. We can just
You
keep
could,
doing
yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah.
So tie kind of, and do you want to just belay off each other, or how do you want to do it?
Yeah, sounds good to me. And we just kind of like start.
Okay.
Okay, we just kind of start going down, right? Actually, no. We should probably toss the harpoon back. I don't think he has another one of these on him.
I mean, I have extra bolts. I would appreciate getting it back, but
We just can we just like
I haven't
drop the
had to hunt
harpoon.
for fish.
So
in
you see them
quite a
like
while.
messing with rope and
don't
tying
really
things
want
together and being like,
down.
"Oh, hey, how was the party? Yeah, oh, no, it was really good." Like they're just chatting it. Like you're like, "What are they doing up there?"
Yeah, that tracks.
Trying to figure out how to like.
Okay, so
Okay, so
we tie it off to each other.
yes,
And we hold it up here,
uh-huh,
and we put our feet together.
yes.
And
then
neither
we
of them are
slowly
the
walk
big
down.
outdoorsy types. Well, Talio is
Okay, yeah, this is working.
well traveled, but
And we just kind
There's
of
an outdoor
work
cat.
our way down. Work our way down.
that was really funny. You guys missed it. Osfer said Talio is an outdoor cat.
You were describing to what level they have experience
Yeah.
in the wild.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean,
Talio.
you're well traveled
Yeah.
at the very least. You know how to.
Well, I've picked
yeah.
up so many skills.
Yeah, I don't.
That was a
I don't
big
think
kid.
you're like super naturey like ranger-ish, but
No.
But you're well traveled. You know how to like well, all we have is like mushrooms tonight. I can make a soup and we'll be okay, like that type of thing.
Little boys.
You've had to do with less. So yeah, are you guys belaying or are you making a python and doing top roping?
We are.
Belaying.
Yeah, so we've got all of the slack is below us, and we are slowly using our upper body strength
Top
to
roping.
walk down while keeping our feet touching together.
How?
And we're also tied off.
What?
Are we like trying to?
Oh,
So,
you're on
our
opposite
force-
sides.
Yeah, our
Yes.
forces this way are canceling each other out, and we're providing.
Okay, so you
stability,
have half as
and we're
much rope
both- yeah.
because of that.
Yeah, so we're going not all the way down. But
You're
we'll be really
yeah,
close.
you're gonna get like within 10
feet.
feet of the ground, like right on the edge of where those leaves are.
Yeah, that's fine.
And
Yeah,
then you
that's-
guys want to like untie and just drop the last 10 feet, that type of
Yes.
thing. Okay, cool. You can do that. No big problem. I will have you roll acrobatics checks to see if when you take that you fall those 10 feet, when you stumble and you roll to catch yourself, if you accidentally roll into the leaf that you're trying to avoid.
Acrobatics.
Yes.
I want
we
to be
try
a
to
dick
help
so
catch them?
bad.
What?
Can we try to help catch them?
You can if you guys want to work your way over there. I mean, again,
would,
it takes a
yeah.
while because you have to go like sometimes you have to backtrack and move through things, but yeah, you can absolutely do that. Yeah.
Okay, so the way we have it set up,
I would say I'll let you roll your
Oh.
acrobatics at advantage if
the
you'd like,
first
because
one
you're
of
trying to
us,
check.
the first one of us that is free from the rope
is going to
Oh,
pull the
one-
other one up. Yep.
The
'cause
other
you-
one's just gonna fall straight.
Oh yeah, the whole thing's.
Oh yeah, the other one's
Yeah.
just going to fall straight. Yeah.
without being completely ready for it.
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean we just want the.
Dude,
keep
still
the-
acrobatics checks because you have to.
You said at
land,
advantage or?
Rock, paper, scissors.
It
On
would be an
3.
advantage because they're at the bottom trying to catch you.
Just on 3, you guys both let go.
So you fell.
I fell.
These faces are a journey.
11.
11,
14.
14. Jeez, guys. So Len, you're got enough broad shoulders that you catch Talio like just gracefully in your arms there. Bast,
It's really comfortable.
you are under. It's like you and Osfer are trying to help.
I don't.
Osfer's also very
cradled.
small
Like-
in stature to be
like
catching
away,
somebody that's
kind
like,
of, or like-
more than twice their height.
Hands like this and you just drop
Um,
the tops like that.
Probably not the best idea, but it's possible. But you guys kind
That's
of
good to
figure it
see,
out,
yeah.
and Bass, like, you're big enough, and you're like, okay, you catch Maeve. Maeve has a lot of weapons on.
I do.
Maeve has a lot of
surprisingly
weapons
few
on.
amount
So
of
although
clothes.
their body is not like extremely heavy, they also have a lot of muscle mass because they're like strong and they've got that like kind of that slim muscle. And
I wear it well.
yeah, yeah, very yes, that slender muscle, and it's very, very like there's no body fat. They have 0 body fat on their body, so they fall and they're a lot heavier than you thought they were going to fall because they have gold weapons. Remember how much gold weapons you guys grabbed?
So many.
Yes, so many gold weapons.
Wait, am I? I don't think I'm carrying any of those, am I?
You have your own short sword, long sword,
I
long
mean,
bow,
yes.
short
I mean, I
bow.
have my own things. I don't.
Yes.
I think Osfer had the gold shit.
So so Bass is like, as you fall onto him, you're caught, no damage, no big deal. Bass falls onto his knee, you kind of stumble, and one of your feet does touch the edge of the leaf of this thing. You're all like, stop for a moment and pause and be like, almost like you stepped on a landmine, you're like not sure what to do. Do you pull your foot off or no?
Yes.
Can you slowly pull your foot off?
Just like very
Back
like.
away.
Apologize. I'm sorry. I say in Sylvan, sorry.
You see one of there was another small stem that was coming from the core of this thing that has small leaf on it that kind of wilts and falls and flits down to the ground. And as soon as it touches the ground, you hear this rumbling in the earth as parts of these leaves start to peel off of this bulb. Just peel. And it keeps peeling, and it's like it goes through a rainbow of different colors. There's reds, then whites, then yellows, then greens, then blues, then purples, and then violets. And it just keeps going through this. And now it's going so fast and flitting open, it almost looks like those old projectors that went...
Zoetrope.
Yes, thank you. And like those old flip books that had a bunch of different animations on them, and it starts to flip through, and it gives you this illusion of this like rainbow moving throughout in waves from this big bulb that's moving. And it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller from this big, huge thing that is creating now this big pillow of massive leaves and flower petals that keeps unfolding and unfolding and unfolding and unfolding before it finally stops to be something that's only about 10 feet in diameter. And there's this huge area of just pillowed petals and flowers of various rainbows of colors in the area. And then you see like some sort of stem grow out of the top of it, and it creeps down. And then you looked like a stem at first, and then you realize maybe it's like an arm as you would see the way it's articulating, and it like peels itself like a banana. And very kind of like Fantasia-esque, this part unfolds from the bottom to the top as the bulb now looks like a dress on some sort of humanoid creature that has like this flowering, budding face and flowers on its shoulders and leaves down its arms and these roots for hands that has this kind of like buttressed bell like hoop skirt type thing of where like the bulb may be, and it just kind of breathes in and crosses its arms and looks at you about the size of a medium creature, maybe like 8 foot tall, but about that. And it looks like kind of reminiscent of those Alice in Wonderland flowers that had like faces on them, and they were blooming with all the petals around. And it leans, and it's still firmly attached to it, like the base of this core of this bulb as its own thing. So it doesn't look like it has legs. It looks like it's just giving the illusion of a skirt and dress around it. And it kind of like leans over and looks at you all real quick, and you can't tell whether it doesn't have eyes, it doesn't have a nose, it doesn't have a mouth, but it has facsimiles of them, of the like painted splatter stains on the flower, like how some predators and prey will have certain types of camouflage that make them look bigger than they are to scare away predators. Like moths have like the faces of owls kind of like ink splotted on their wings to make them look like bigger predators. Same thing with this, like an orchid paint splatter on the flower. So it kind of gives this facsimile of the shadow of where eyes would be and a brow would be, where the nostrils of a nose might be, and where the bridge of one might be, and where the abscess of a mouth might be. And it is very reminiscent of those kind of reaching orchids with the pollen out of it. And it kind of bows and turns its head, its flower area, and you hear a voice emanate outward. And it's interesting because it doesn't sound like it's coming from that. It sounds like it's coming from the ground. Like the roots are vibrating the ground and then throwing it into your bones, because sound is nothing but vibration, to have it like resonate throughout your body to then vibrate your eardrum. And you hear, in common, it say, "Well, hello, my lovelies." And that's where we're going to end the session today. As you meet a flower person. Ooh, this is fun.
Incredible entry.
Yeah, I was like, this is so much that unfolds too. I'm very excited to do that type of thing. Okay, cool. So that's all the time we have today. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for next time. And as always, stay safe out there. Bye.
Bye.